Hello and welcome to Spotlight, not recorded live here on Grapple Patreon. I'm Benno.
Hi, I'm returning guest WH Park.
And it's great to have WH here with us for a Wrestle Kingdom review edition of Spotlight. We had to draft in the big guns for this one. I know you were we got you on loan from postwrestling.com with an option, but you'll be returning over there. But great to have you in Grapple Towers, obviously filling in for we usually have JP on this Wrestle Kingdom review. But yeah, first person that came to mind and the man who answered the call. WH. Always great to have you over on Grapple. It's a bit like when we have Karen over here. I feel like we get a different side of WH Park over on these shows.
Well, I mean, it's been a while since I've been on Grapple, so it's nice to be back. And Happy New Year to everyone, all the listeners, all the members of the Grapple community. One of the best communities. I'm a member of the community. I still, pay for the Patreon over on Grapple. So I urge people to support because. Not only do you get a lot of wrestling talk, you get a lot of other stuff. Just like Post, I feel like Post, Poison Rana, you guys have built such a wonderful community of listeners, and that you guys, really cultivate a lot of like goodwill in that community. And it's always fun to kind of drop in and not necessarily participate, but just watch it. It's really nice. And where else are you going to get Scran of the Week? Nowhere. Grapple.
That's it. The originator. It's literally the only segment we do on the pre-shows, but it's our segment and it works. Scran of the Year that goes in there. Did you have a Scran of the Week you wanted to mention from the Christmas New Year period?
I didn't eat anything special this week, but I know like I was on the Poison Rana Christmas show with Maddie.
Oh,
and they were bringing up.
I was sad to miss that.
Apparently, Maddie's like big on oatmeal or something, and they were
porridge we call it.
And then they asked me, "What do you think about oatmeal?" And I'm like, as a snack, in terms of like as a cookie, sure. As a cereal, I don't know. I didn't have thought about it, but like Maddie seemed very disappointed about it.
He likes it's plain, it's basic, it's very Matty. He has he's doing his New Year's resolutions and his New Year's routines, and I can guarantee that'll be his breakfast every day. I assume when you saw him in Toronto, like I was gutted this year, didn't get out. I was hoping to get out to Toronto this year. Obviously, being in Asia for the majority of it, but Matty was there in my stead. You got to show him around the town, didn't you? I assume you didn't go out for some porridge.
We went to Korean barbecue. We didn't have barbecue. We went to a Korean restaurant and. Met his wife Stephanie. She's a really lovely person. He's lovely. So I don't know like how many people watching this, if you've never met Maddie in person at a Grapple event, what you get on screen is what you get in real life. Actually,
yes, that's Matty. I was I remember I was at a Red Pro show and I bumped into Kieran from Bushi Matches, and he was like, "Where did you find Matty? Like, what have you unleashed on the world?" And I was like, "Just known him for years and just yeah." But I think I always thought he'd be good on podcasts, but maybe I tried to protect the world from him for a little while. He's done a bit of growing up in the meantime. I don't know to get him there, but yeah, he kind of it was one of those. I think we had him on like a 5-1. On the Patreon, and then he just never left again. And now pretty much it's his Patreon, and now it's his pre-show, and now it's his Christmas show, and pretty much it's his show by the end of 2025. It'll be Spotlight with Matty and WH Park or insert guest. I think by the end of the year.
Do like the Roman Reigns series.
That's true.
Unless like,
would you do it?
Would I do an episode of the Roman Reigns series with Matty? I do an episode. I wouldn't do a whole series of it because I don't love Roman Reigns that much.
It's beyond it. Anyway, we've got to do the Fast and Furious show still at some point. We still got the Wild Speed podcast still in the ether. We need Vin Diesel to get his shit together. When I was in Bangkok, there was like a Madame Tussauds there, and there was like in the middle of like one of the big malls. It's like a Vin Diesel, Madame Tussauds, and a little car. I think I sent you the picture when I took it. Like that could be the show image when we get around to that. But it's politics, isn't it? Like wrestling, it's still going to be another couple of years before if it ever happens, the last Fast and Furious. But we've always said we'll do it. We'll do that podcast series.
We'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. I love to do it. Like I have thoughts about and I haven't watched the last 2 movies. So those are fresh takes. No, I after the one they went to fucking space, I was like, oh, I'm fucking.
They'll come on back.
I'm done. I'm not seeing these in theaters. I said to myself, I'm only gonna watch these like if I do the show with Benno.
Good mom. The Post and the Furious, I think we were going to call it at one point.
If we were going to do it at Post, we were going to do it there, but we'll call it
the Grapple and the Furious, maybe. We'll find a way. We'll still get all the guests in. That was our idea, wasn't it? Maybe a rotating series of guests covering the films, and whoever's lucky gets to do the early ones. Oh yeah, they love it. Definitely, John's a big Fast and Furious guy as well, so maybe we can deliver on that promise at some point.
Get Brandon from New Jersey. No, don't do that.
See, he's one of those we've adopted him now. He's literally part of our community.
I know.
His JP impression is now legendary. He does a good to Beach Park as well. Does a decent Matty, but JP's still his best.
Is it? I don't think I've heard his JP. I'll have to ask him in private. Like, dude, you're JP for me, mate. Proper, mate. Proper.
There you go. In tribute to JP. But yeah, I was actually searching this week for while I was watching Wrestle Kingdom, and I did got up early for it. Obviously, being back in Belfast and back from Asia, and it was obviously got a few people asking where my traditional Greggs was. So I did managed to post a screenshot of the Greggs nearby being closed. But Steph did sort me at a cracking breakfast, which was way better than any Greggs could provide. I was looking around for one of my old tweets that I know you were a fan of, and I did find a Brandon from New Jersey voice clip of you quoting me maybe on a post wrestling podcast at some point. But maybe we'll repeat those words as we go on today. But no, really appreciate you joining us to do this, especially here in the new year in the freezing cold of Toronto. I'm sure it's snowing out there and it's tough. So
it's pretty. It's pretty dreary out there, and I think we're slated for some snow. It's like Celsius. It's like minus. I was gonna say it's like minus 10 out there right now.
Hell. So. I've been cold coming back. Honestly, I was used to 40-degree weather in Bangkok, and that's in Celsius. Hopefully, I'll be back there soon enough. But maybe we're beating you here over in the UK. But either way, hide out with me and WH away from the elements, as we do need to talk some Wrestle Kingdom. And like I say, we have you on loan from Post Pro Res and everything that goes on over there. So I haven't actually heard your full thoughts on obviously everything going into this show, and we're going to go through the match by match, unfortunately, when it comes to some of the early parts of the card. But we do need to skip ahead and obviously open with the big stuff, which is Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement. The different speaking of Fast and Furious, the cast of characters that turned up at the end of the show, we can get into as well. All the people from the previous movies rearing their heads. So we'll figure out whether which one is Paul Walker and which one is Tyrese out of the number of people we did see at the end of the show as well. But obviously,
I'll tell you who right now that Tyrese was, and to me it was fucking Naito. Like slow walking out there. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, they got a curfew. You need to fucking pick up the pace, mate.
I could see him being he's more of, I don't know, maybe a Rock style thing with the politics of it. Maybe Nakamura is the Rock, not turning up for the last couple of movies. I think that works.
I mean, not to get ahead of myself, but I was so surprised they didn't even he couldn't even show up for the retirement ceremony. Oh, and they were going to let him wrestle. They were going to let him wrestle. Yeah, it's just to appease Tony, right? That New Japan decided to go with. Like, I have thoughts of this, like, leading up to it. Like, I said Okada is the most likely, for one, because of the relationship with AW, but he's the best choice because he is Nakamura is his generational rival, like Tanahashi's generational rival, and one of his greatest rivals for sure. But Okada is his greatest career rival. And I stand by that. So this is like, he is the most appropriate pick. Like, and like, I argue with Rich Fan and Karen Peterson about this all the time. They say it should have been Nakamura. And I'm like, no, it should be. And it's a good thing that it was Okada, because you would talk about the match as well, because Nakamura wasn't gonna salvage Tanahashi's last match.
Not this Nakamura in 2026.
No. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, to your mind, obviously, WWE, I heard Meltzer and Alvarez arguing about it, like, trying to figure out if he could have possibly made it, but, like, obviously, WWE booked SmackDown, and obviously, they really needed Nakamura for a 30-second backstage pre-tape, but, like, that would have been, when did that finish? Like, 6 hours before this show started, if I've got my time zones right? Like, WWE made it certain that even if he wanted to go in person and fly out there, he probably couldn't have made it out for the show as well. But, like, even there was still part of me kind of looking at it going, okay, was there a flight he could have got? Could he possibly be there? Could he appear, like, without the cameras on, maybe? Could they have done that? But obviously that was never happening with WWE involved. But, like, my question was going to be to you, would it have, I assume we would have got a sold out Tokyo Dome either way, being Tanahashi's last match, but do you think it would have been the same guarantee with Nakamura in there? Because that was going to be my same point for you. It wouldn't be at least from a match quality point of view, you weren't getting that. You weren't getting what we're getting. So would it have still have drawn the same?
No, I don't think so. Because Nakamura is not a star in WWE. He's not a top line player right now in current WWE. If you talked about like 5 years ago, like if you're talking about NXT, fresh to main roster, Nakamura, maybe like headlining with AJ Styles, WrestleMania, and Nakamura, maybe. But who right now in the American wrestling landscape? Who is the bigger star in their respective companies? It's Okada. Okada is front and center and in a lot of AEW programming. I think he's probably gonna. I'm hoping he wins the title this year. In AEW, I think you need to put the title on him at some point to make it worth his while to have jumped ship to leave Japan to go to AEW. You need to make him your champion. I think it would be good business. But speaking of good business, no, do I think you would have had a guarantee seller? I think it would have trickled. I think you would have gotten there trickling. But once they announced him, once he came out in his hometown during the house show of his hometown to say, I'm going to be your last opponent, fucking the remaining tickets, I mean, it was selling pretty well. They fucking went, right? Because it's like, oh, fuck, we get to see Okada and Tanahashi one more time. And for a lot more recent fans who came on board during the Okada wave, right, like 2016 on, and he drew in a lot of fans with his ascension to the top and his like, oh shit, solidifying himself as a world class wrestler and main event star in New Japan. People are coming back for him, like whereas Nakamura would be like, I don't even know, like so many like lapsed fans of his would come back to see him wrestle Tanahashi, because you're not guaranteed like a good match, because I'm sorry, like, and I hate to say this because Tanahashi was just so broken down the last 2-3 years. It was hard for me to watch his matches, and sometimes I just would skip anything he did because I was just like, it's sad to watch him. But I knew with Okada, like at least there's a good chance you're gonna get something like in the 3-star range with this, and I think he delivered. And his star power is just so much greater than Nakamura's right now, especially in Japan. Like it's not been that long since he left Japan. I was
going to say that, yeah. And it's been longer than people think since Nakamura left. Like we were on Patreon doing the Wrestle Kingdom 10 flashback review now, 10 years ago. Yes. Like obviously with us being at Wrestle Kingdom 20 now, you forget that's how long ago it was when,
and his star has diminished in WWE, right?
Which is interesting, because I wonder whether that'd be as much a factor, because like you're right, Okada is relatively protected in AEW, but only to a certain level, Like I think based on this performance and this Okada that we saw at Wrestle Kingdom, I could picture maybe a world title run maybe in his future, but I think he's mostly been pitched below that. But I probably wouldn't even go that far. I'm doubting, people are paying that close attention in Japan to where each of them are slotted in the American companies. Maybe to me it's more, like you say, the recency of it and the fact that Nakamura at this point is a previous generation, and Okada we're only just getting past like his generation and his run. Like it feels a lot closer. And obviously we've had the crossovers, and we've had the callbacks and such as well that just make it feel a little bit more like he's almost like a ghost that still is knocking around the halls of New Japan, less so than Nakamura, even if the multiple tributes you get on shows and his finisher being utilized and people wearing red and stuff like that does still pepper a lot of these shows.
I also think like with Nakamura, he's come back to Japan. Like he did the great
True Noah,
right? So like he's done it with Noah. He just didn't do it with New Japan. So like there's not the specialness of like this is Okada's first time wrestling in Japan since leaving. So that's in of itself a special attraction. And there's tons more Okada fans still in New Japan than there are. Like if you wanted to see Nakamura, you'd gone to see him wrestle Great Muda's last match in Noah. Yeah. So it's not special so much anymore. Like I would have promoted like he's gonna show up, like they couldn't even get him out there show up in New Year's Dash. I'm sure he's there backstage. I'm sure he was there. Him and Tanahashi are going out drinking later with like
it was Yano's bar.
Fuck that. Fuck Yano's bar. That place is overrated.
I didn't go there.
Too many weebos fucking go there now too. So I fucking wouldn't go there. No, like they're going to like some like mom and pop shop that they know the owners. They go to the back room. They're hanging out with fucking Goto and fucking Yano. Like Yano's not even going to his own fucking bar. He's going to this fucking bar with these guys and Shibata. They're all getting fucking drunk and like talking stories and talking shit about the new generation, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's that wrestling bar in Golden Guy. That was my favorite one. I still don't know the name of it, but it was a
I
beast.
don't
Didn't
know.
make it to the DDC bar either.
I couldn't tell you. Like, no one knows half the name of the bars in Golden Guy, dude. They come and go.
Yeah, they just exist. That seems to be, other than the death match in hell. That's the one everyone seems to recommend. That was closed when I was there. But I mean, on like that point as well with Nakamura as well. Like, I think, again, like you said, I think it could have been. I think I see like a Karen's point on it, that like, while people have seen Nakamura in Japan, I still think Nakamura Tanahashi is a little bit fresher, considering, like you say, it's 2024 when, you know, Okada's contract is up with New Japan. It's not that long ago. It's not that long ago we've seen Tanahashi and Okada in the ring. Count like a forbidden door, you know, with AEW as well. So there is that too. But again, I just think the argument is blown out the water when you do get to, you know, what this show delivered from a business point of view, and also what it delivered from a match point of view and a moment point of view. And it did feel, again, going back and watching Wrestle Kingdom 10, it was like, no, as much as, you know, there is all that history as well with Nakamura, the proper in-ring rivalry, the rivalry that kind of sums up, you know, this era of New Japan that, you know, was finally moving past now. It's Okada and Tanahashi, and that's what we got there. I mean, what did you make of the other? And we'll get to the match as we go through the show. But what did you make of the other appearances that we got here? There was a certain person in the room when I was watching it that woke up when Jay White walked out that I can tell you about reaction to. But you know, there was still part of, I think, people thinking, even when Bushi came out with the mask on, I'm sure there was people thinking, oh, maybe that's Nakamura. No, it was just Bushi, unfortunately. But
yeah, it's like,
yeah. It would have made a great addition, though, to this parade of white guys that we got coming out at the end of the show.
Why the fuck is Bushi out there? Like, he doesn't mean
so
anything
bizarre.
to fucking Tanahashi. Like, I thought it was nice. Like, all things being said about Naito, like, that it was nice that they got him to show up for like this, because, like, you know, they're very important to one another's careers. Tanahashi and Naito. But I thought it was really nice touch that all these guys who are injured in AEW like thought, oh, fuck it, let's go to Japan. We're not being Tony's not using us on TV, or, you know, or not on, you know, he can spare us. So like Will going over, it was nice, because it's nice to see them like like that peek behind the curtains. So like you see Will, like he's when he's about to get in the ring, he's like going over to Shota Umino. Because you can tell, okay, they were friends when he was in Japan. Like, they were like reuniting, and like, who else did something like that? I don't know if Jay White did that. Like, but I was like, Jay White fan. Oh, okay, that's nice. When Kenny and Ibushi came out together, that was sad, by the way. Ibushi. I don't know about that guy's career. Unfortunately, it's sad.
It was the most Ibushi thing ever, wasn't it? To try and force himself to kind of walk out, and you could tell. Like, I don't think Kenny was being a dick. I think Kenny just was letting him, you know, be his own man and walk out rather than fully help him. Yeah. But it was painful. It was watching, remember that fucking terrible Saudi match with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and they just both look like two old men crumpled in the corner. This is kind of like the equivalent of that, seeing these two come out, and Omega has been through a rough time over the last while or so himself, so he doesn't look 100%, and Ibushi is falling apart trying to force his way out there. It was a sad visual.
Yeah, but it was nice to see them come out to honor someone who is so important to all. Like for Ibushi, Tanahashi's his favorite wrestler, right? So like for him to be there,
and with all the history as well, and the way he left New Japan.
Yeah, and like his genuine, his emotions on his face were genuine. You can tell like he was, you know, so happy and sad at the same time to be in the same ring with Tanahashi in his last hurrah as a professional wrestler. But it was just nice to, like, all these guys were like, we want to come. We're going to fly all the way to Japan. We're going to go hang out. I'm sure it was fun for them to hang out with the boys as well. Yeah. But also like just to pay tribute to him. And I swear to God, I thought, okay, Nakamura's coming out. Because I don't know that he was on fucking SmackDown. I don't watch SmackDown. I don't watch put myself through that shit. But you know, and then he did, and I was like, I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't let him at least come out just to give him a bouquet of flowers. I thought that was a little sad, a little fucking petty, but that's what you get from WWE. So
It's how they run things. It's how they roll. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, maybe there's flights he could have caught to make it work, but yeah. I did share that same kind of hope as the parade of people came out. Like again, Jay White felt a little bit out of place. Steph will kill me for saying it compared to some of the other big names that were coming out. But nice to see him. Like you say, nice to see obviously Ospreay, who had been reported a couple of days before was going to be there as well. And like you say, the Naito one was just hilarious. Just watching him, like, rather than let the moment be about Tanahashi, it was just the most Naito thing ever to get both of his entrance music played, including his current one that he's never used in New Japan, to come out there with the GHC belts as well to get Bushi carrying them out. So like you said, to even get Bushi on the show was a very Naito move. And like, I fucking pissed myself at Tanahashi just looking at his watch, kind of going, that was like the boss Tanahashi, the actual office Tanahashi, going, come on mate, we've only got so much TV window left here, you can't quite make it about yourself. And it was one of those where it was like, okay, Naito's clearly thinking about getting his stock up and a potential one day return to New Japan, but it was, it's also very Naito to make it about himself in that way. I just maybe wish he could have read the room a little bit on what this was supposed to be about.
No, have you seen the tag team title match he had in Noah where he won the titles with Bushi?
No. I think who was talking about someone on our Patreon was talking about that. Yeah.
Don't put yourself through it. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible.
His hair looks good. The outfit looks good, but yeah,
the hair. I don't know about the hair. The outfit looks good. I don't know about the hair.
Nah.
He looks. It's sad to see this dude like as he is now. He needs to retire too. So.
We're at that point, aren't we? Like he's the other one to close out this generation who probably needs to call it a day. And the other one in there as well, again talking about like bad history with New Japan getting Shibata out there for the lock up and the little mini fight with Tanahashi and the hug at the end there. That was probably the highlight of the post match for me, sure. Just getting that moment, and obviously you could see what it meant to both of them, and it was the most Shibata thing ever. I was just glad that he I don't know if you feel the same way, that he took that fucking Ops t-shirt off. I think that was very much needed.
It was pretty fun. I thought that was funny that he came out in it and his shorts. I was like, what the fuck? And then he's not wearing a suit, and then this is why. But also, it's a big fuck you to New Japan too, right? Like, true. Like, not Tanahashi, because all that shit happened before Tanahashi was in office, and I don't know how much of a say he would have had in potentially Shibata returning in ring in New Japan. But like, it was JP's nice.
Wish.
For me, it was nice because like I was at the G1 Climax Finals where Shibata came out with him against Ibushi, and Kenny Omega's in Ibushi's corner, and this is setting up for the Wrestle Kingdom 14. The last Wrestle Kingdom that I got to attend live before COVID happened, right? So, no, the second last. It was Naito and Okada was the last Wrestle Kingdom that I attended live. This was just before COVID, but to see
the end of New Japan, some would say. The roll call. That's the roll call Wrestle Kingdom, right? 2020.
Yeah. No, that was that's when COVID fucking killed that company, right? We can talk about the attendance.
Killed Brit Rez too, as well as all the nonsense that too.
Wow. I mean, I think Brit Rez killed itself. Like,
yes, Brit Rez deserves to die.
But it was nice because like that history of like, okay, he's not wrestling, Shibata's going to be in his corner, and it's like, oh shit, because you thought they were just right. No, they were generation. They were him, Tanahashi, Nakamura, Shibata were supposed to be the new Three Musketeers of their generation, right? And so, but then Shibata went insane, and he went, I'm going to be a shoot fighter. I'm going to do all these indies instead. Okay. And then it's like, it's nice that he came back and he had a great run until he got the match with Okada and he almost died. He had his brain transplanted. He took it out.
Take it out of his head, put it back in.
They put it back in. They apparently they can do that in medical science these days. But anyways, he to see him come back and then be the kind of the second for Tanahashi in that match, and I think it's such an important match for Tanahashi. Yeah. I think it's his last great match that he had was with Ibushi. I think the Kenny match he has in January for the title, which basically signals the end of the elite in New Japan, and really heralds the beginning of elite wrestling. Which I don't know if I'm sure I've told you the story. I was there when they were planning AEW. Like with someone high up, I was having ramen with, and they were asking me, who should we partner with in Japan?
What was your answer? That's what I want to know.
You want
You a Ring of Honor
no, in Japan they wanted, it's like, who should we partner with in Japan? Like, my boss. And I didn't know who his boss was, right? So I'm like, if you're gonna start a wrestling promotion, you fucking do here. I was like, well, I could guess what he was talking about. I said DDT, and then they pull a bunch of people from DDT. So it was funny. I know they were gonna steal half the fucking American roster of New Japan while they were at it, but that was pretty funny too.
That was the other part about this. Like, it was obviously a sad moment to see like Tanahashi go off and to see like the end of, like, I would say the New Japan that was for most of us in the West, the one that we knew and loved more than 5 years ago at this point. But also it was somebody said that on our Discord, like the roll call of people I just mentioned there: Jay White, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, even Shibata, even Ibushi. All AEW guys now. It is literally, that's what it was. It was a parade of the guys that AEW has stolen over the years. Maybe Yota Tsuji was right. Like, it kind of showed you like the shift that's happened in these last 5 years. I thought it was interesting. Obviously, they gave Buto and Fujinami spots in here as well. But outside of that, I do feel like if I was one of like the New Japan guys who's been around for a while, who's does mean something to a Tanahashi's career to just be sat outside at ringside while, like I say, a Jay White gets to get this big moment, and while all this it kind of shows you where the power still lies and kind of where AEW is compared to New Japan at this point.
It's funny because like I see all these guys who are all injured at the moment, right? Jay White and Kenny and Will Ospreay, and I'm just thinking, you guys have more. Each one of you has more fucking charisma. As much as I didn't like Jay White in New Japan, I will say he had an aura, he had charisma.
Joe wouldn't agree. Steph would.
I think his wrestling was horrible in New Japan. I think he's an American television wrestler, trying to fucking wrestle in live Japan, which I don't think works. But that's the problem with New Japan in-ring product as it stands right now, is that they try to be an American television company when they're not. It's like, just understand your fucking market. You guys are the leaders of this market. Why don't you understand it? But it's amazing to see. And then I think about all the foreigners that they have on their roster right now, and like collectively, they are like nowhere in the same category for aura, at the very least for aura, as even fucking Jay White or Kenny or definitely not Will Ospreay. Like, I'm thinking of Callum Newman. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy being pushed for? he's athletic.
It's Ospreay to Callum Newman. It's Jay White to David Finlay. There's a lot of step downs there.
It's like Kyle Fletcher is a third-rate Will Ospreay, in my opinion, and fucking Callum Newman is a sixth-rate fucking Kyle Fletcher to me. So,
I think he's a first-rate Kyle Fletcher as Kyle himself, but I think he's turned into his own man, I'd argue.
No, Kyle Fletcher now. Yes, Kyle Fletcher. When I saw him in Japan, second-rate, third-rate Will Ospreay. And I mean, I think he's much bigger. I'm talking about when he's in Japan.
Oh, sure, yeah.
When he's in Japan, not so much. But in AEW, yes. But like Callum Newman, and the guy is athletically gifted, but this guy is like a black hole of charisma. Like, I have no interest in seeing this guy progress or wanting to watch his matches, because I think he's such a bore, an utter bore. And I feel sorry for David Finlay that he's saddled in a feud with this fucking guy right now.
David Finlay feels like one who, obviously the rumors are up with him, and obviously going to talk about it when we get into the undercard. Like, he's someone who I think, like Jay White, is better suited to wrestling outside of Japan. I think he's somebody who could be in a Triple H WWE. He could get a nice little upper mid card role. Surely, they could find something for him. Probably more likely he turns up in the Don Callis family or the Bang Bang Gang in AW at some point. But yeah, I think that's the best route for him. Callum Newman, like I see something there, and clearly Ospreay sees more based on everything that happened at New Year's Dash this morning as well. But it does feel like Ospreay's trying very, very hard to get him going and get him up as the next guy in AEW and New Japan. Feel like
the thing he needs to do first and foremost, he needs to get a fucking tan. This guy is fucking pale as shit. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Get a fucking. They have tanning beds in Japan. In the summer, you just go outside, dude. It's fucking hot and it's sunny. You're gonna get a fucking tan within like 2 hours. That's all you need to do. Just go get a fucking tan.
Maybe he was using some of those sun creams I've seen in Thailand when I was there with his bleach in it. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we're more on him as we go on. Anything more on like the Tanahashi retirement? Was it appropriate for him at the level that you'd expect for, a big send off for somebody at Tanahashi's caliber. Obviously, like I say, Naito dragging out some of the TV time did feel like it cut in a little bit as far as how long he could go on a speech, although it didn't cut into how long he could parade around on that weird step ladder thing around the dome. So at least he got those moments in there as well. And it's not like he's not going to be around either, is it? As well, a lot of it's very sad. It's sad to see him in his ring gear for this last time. It was sad to see him in his ring coat for this last time, but obviously he's going to be an ever present going forward. So maybe there's more to come later.
I mean, they gave him a lot of time. They did as much as they could for the fanfare with the guests, and that being put on that cart and it just rolled around. I thought that was kind of cheesy. I think they could have done.
I wonder if that made TV Asahi cut. I'm guessing it didn't. Felt like it was past the hour at that point, past the half hour at that point.
Oh yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think it was appropriate. I think being live at the Liger retirement ceremony at New Year's Dash felt a little bit more special because it's a whole. Here's the thing with Tanahashi is this Wrestle Kingdom was devoted to him, right? Nothing underneath that felt special at all.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll talk about that. But it's everything, but it sold it out. Him and Okada sold that place out. So, and that I thought it was interesting that Okada didn't stick around for, to give him flowers or
just thank you and gone. Little handshake while he's on the floor. Yeah.
Probably outside, probably backstage is fine. Privately, of course.
Protecting his character, maybe his AEW dickhead heel character.
I think so.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously, again, I can't believe I think the conversations about whether it could have been Nakamura were fair. I don't think any of the conversations about whether it could have gone last were fair. With the benefit of time, like you said, as soon as Okada got announced and all those tickets got shifted, it was like, all right, well, very clearly this needs to go on last. And again, the pomp and circumstance that we got after it had to take place. You couldn't have done that show without it, and then you couldn't have wheeled out another match after it either as well. So I think they got the line about the right place, and it was a far more emotional and better send off than old John Cena got over on Saturday night's main event, which is the closest comparison you could think of. But
John Cena on his Instagram just posted a photo of Tanahashi.
He did. There you go. Nice. I've seen, there's been a lot of tributes, you see an AJ and people like that, and you forget the laundry list of guys who've bumped into Tanahashi on ROH shows, or had Brody Lee posted a picture of him and Tanahashi. I forgot they shared the ring on one of the Forbidden Door tags as well. It has been nice to see it. It has, at least there's not that embargo from the WWE side. Most of their talent seem to be allowed to say whatever they want about Tanahashi there. I don't expect any tributes on Raw. Maybe we'll get a Michael Cole to camera tonight at some point, but yeah. Rather that than letting Nakamura have SmackDown off, apparently, is what they've allowed. But to go into the show itself, like I said to you, we're going to spend not a lot of time on a lot of these undercard matches, and probably less time on the pre-show. I did, like I say, got myself out of bed at the crack of, I think it was 6:15 a.m. UK and Ireland. Steph would make sure I say time over here, so I did roll myself out of bed and did manage to get it in. But isn't a huge amount to say about this pre-show. I do feel I think I heard Karen say, and it does feel a bit odd that this DDT wrestler Chris Brooks gets a singles match against El Phantasmo in the Dome, and there's some big New Japan show stars to come that were in matches that were probably lesser than them themselves. But yeah, that's probably the highlight / low light of the pre-show. And I think as a match it got over. It felt like Brooks' stuff got over in there as well, and it wasn't a huge match of the night contender, and you're probably not getting that from El Phantasmo at this point in his career. It was just a bit of a strange choice for the pre-show, but I can't say it didn't work.
No, it's fine. Having seen Chris Brooks early in his Japan career, before he even signed with DDT, it was oh yeah, I met him. I bought a pin from him in Shinkiba First Ring from a Big Japan.
There he goes, worker. He transposed the skills that he learned from many halls in his merchandise etiquette from halls in Wolverhampton all the way over to Tokyo.
But it's nice to see because when I talked to him, he was he is genuinely so happy to be wrestling in Japan. It was a dream of his. And then
have you been to Wolverhampton? Of course, he's happy.
Okay, I've Will Cooling's from there, right? So I can guess if no, just kidding.
It's got a KFC too. They're the two main points. I don't think it's got a
He
KFC anymore. Might be gone.
he is like he bet on himself. He
Yeah.
stayed. He moved to Japan during COVID. Like he stayed and he said, I'm gonna stay here. And it worked. He's a big star in DDT. And he got this spot, which was like when they announced it, I was like, really? Okay, like good for him. Like nothing against him. I'm just like, I'm sure that didn't go over well in the locker room. Like our New Japan television title, like one of our titles, is being defended on even just the pre-show, but still, his guy's getting a singles match against ELP. Why? Like you could have.
What would you guess the politics of that are? Like a Kenny Omega recommendation,
I don't know.
LP wanted the match, or what? I know it's the open challenge kind of belt, isn't it? But it is it wasn't
because he works for Cyberfight, which is the rival of Bushi Road, right? Because Cyberfight owns DDT and Pro Wrestling Noah. It's a weird relationship, right? It's not as clear cut as like WWE, AW. These are your camps. Yeah. In Japan, it's so much weird and more fluid, and like you have Noah participation. Like you're sending guys to excursion to Noah. That's your excursion. That's for your rookies to get for learning expenses. Yeah, I just go to that other promotion here in Japan. Doesn't matter. They don't mean anything to us. They're not rivals to us in any way, shape, or form. And they're not, but it's interesting to see, like, they probably, I would assume ELP and Zack Sabre Jr. So I say, hey,
Zach probably,
get him on the show. Like, he probably said, because ELP and Zach are probably, I think, are friends. And so they said, hey, you should get Chris over. Have the match with you. He's like, okay, I'll pitch it. Hey, yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, all right, sure.
I got a text from Joe. He was watching Wrestle Kingdom on his birthday, of all things. Happy birthday, Joe! And he was just like shouting for that. I haven't thought about that in 6 years. But like, it's funny. Chris Brooks was a bit of a butt of a few jokes on Grapple back in the day. Or more like, the world around him that he built, Schadenfreude and all of that crew, CCK and all of that. But like, I'm totally the same. Like, I wasn't a fan of him in British wrestling. I'm not going to pretend I was. I was never a fan of his in-ring work, but we always kind of had a grudge and respect for that work that he put in with fans and kind of got himself to a point where he was beloved by like a subset of BritRes fan base. But the fact that he has taken those skills and applied them to Japan and applied them to something a lot more worthwhile and has gotten, quietly better as a wrestler. You could see it here in the match itself as well. It's something to be applauded. It really is. Like, I'd rather a wrestler take that route than a wrestler take the easy NXT UK money he was offered. There were reports at the time he could have gone to WWE UK, and where would he be now? Like, he's living on his own terms, and he got himself on Wrestle Kingdom. So, like, what more can you say than that? Like, it's genuinely it's a success story. It is, especially compared to some of his contemporaries.
It's interesting because, like, you look at the guys who bet on themselves and bet on Japan. It's like him and Zach, and not only because they live there, they've assimilated to the culture a lot better than, say, like, right, Will never lived there, and their Japanese is pretty fucking good too. Like, from what I've seen, like in promos when they're talking, especially Zach, like his Japanese is pretty fucking great. And like, but they don't behave like other foreigners who come over there, like, and are just part-timers, and they go on tour and they go back to wherever they're from. It is they
eat at TJ Fridays, don't go anywhere else.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. They respect, and they don't behave like off stage like some of your like ne'er-do-wells who go over there for tour and they think like Japan's their playground. They live there, so they respect it. So I respect them a lot more than the people who just fly in and then they say, we're gonna just hit Roppongi and we're just gonna go crazy and we're just gonna be rude to in convenience stores and stuff like that. And so they're not like that. And like I have heard the stories about like a certain group of British wrestlers who are in New Japan being like complete dunces and dickheads, like when they go out and just being rude and loud. And Zack Sabre Jr. was never part of that crew, and I don't think Chris Brooks was either. But yeah, I'll tell you off air who they were.
Oh, fair enough.
You probably won't be surprised.
I could probably guess at this point as well. I'm just guessing there were 7-Eleven men as well. They spent no time in family.
I saw this one person who was the leader of this group at a 7-Eleven one time. So
even I know Lawson's is the number one when it comes to the convenience stores. In Thailand, it's a different matter. But,
no. For me,
Family Mart?
It's 7-Eleven.
Oh, okay.
I love 7-Eleven for a variety of reasons. More, I love. So, do you want to know my hierarchy? It's like
Go with it.
It's 7-Eleven,
Mm.
Lawson's, Family Mart.
Wow.
And then it just falls off from there.
Lawson's, Family Mart, 7-Eleven for me for doing the top three. I just think the chicken's better.
Yeah.
The fried chicken you can get at the counter, which is obviously the place you go for chicken. The convenience store at 1 a.m, hoping there's still some left. That was my life when I was in Japan.
I
so
like
I can hardly
the
talk about
onigiri,
the
the rice balls.
they're good.
I think 7-Eleven just has better ones, so for that.
7-Eleven in Thailand definitely does, but
yeah.
That's another matter. And the Family Marts in Vietnam aren't worth writing home about either. Tokyo's still got them. Japan's got them both beat. But anyway, yes, solid match. Good to see Brooks on the card. I think it's a fair reward for everything he's done, even if a bit of an odd decision. And obviously, he was always going to be losing on this thing as well. But yeah, take us into the main show, which we should spend a bit more time on. And the biggest question for me, which was just it was odd that was on the pre-show. And then the main card opened up, and I know this wasn't part of the TV Asahi broadcast, was it? But all the same, in a card that felt short on time, and a card that felt like we were cramming a lot of things in, did we really need a Rambo? Never mind a normal Rambo, a Rambo for the 6-man titles. And for me, it was missing all the charm of your Rambos. I'm used to getting up early in the morning and watching these shows and, having my breakfast and having a great time and wondering whether Cheeseburger's coming next or whoever. Even the shit surprises, who the shit surprises were. It didn't even have that element to it. It was just 20 minutes of entrances, because we're just forcing in as many wrestlers as we can in these 6-man units. It was just a whole load of nothing and a lot of time eaten up, not only just in the match itself, but like I say, the entrances and everything before and after the match as well. It really wasn't needed, and I would have easily switched this for the tag title match that was on the Dash show this morning, because I think that offered a lot more than this thing did. But did you have any broad takes on it? As like I say, hard one to analyze considering the camera was cutting to the entrance where every 2 minutes or whatever the intervals were.
Well, I mean, it goes to the point of where New Japan is trying desperately to be an American wrestling company. Okay, this is our biggest show of the year. Let's just try to cram everyone that's not on the main show that has a significant match onto this show, into this match. And I'm looking at some of the people in there. I'm like, your guy who's your world heavyweight champion, he headlined last year. Was it last year he headlined?
Yep.
He was Zack Sabre Jr.
I'd rather he wasn't on the show than in this compared to main event last time.
Why is he in this match? It's so dumb. And I was saying because so him, Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa win the Never 6-man. I messaged Karen. I was watching this last night. I said, this better not mean they don't win the tag titles. And guess what? It meant they didn't win the tag titles. So stupid. But you fucking Hiroki Goto's in this.
Yeah.
They couldn't find something to do for it to me is a perfect example of what Geto has a broken brain. He's not a good boy. He needs to go. Seriously, it's not a bit anymore. I've never met it a bit. It's always I'm serious when I say this guy's a terrible booker. After 20, especially post COVID, he hasn't gotten anyone over. He can't because his mind is stuck in 2016. And this, you need a fresh change. I'm hoping Tanahashi just says this guy needs to go. As a booker, he can be a manager, whatever the fuck he wants to do, but he's not a good booker. He's not a good town scout for here's the thing with AEW now, you're never gonna see the likes of a Kenny Omega develop in Japan. You're not gonna see your Will Ospreays go to Japan over because there was a vacuum, right, with just WWE, and they're not hiring guys like Kenny Omega, and they're not hiring guys like Will Ospreay. So there was a venue for Japan where these guys could go stay long term and develop themselves and get over there. With AEW, Tony hears about somebody, he's snapping them up, right? Right away. He doesn't matter how green they are, he's just gonna put them on a contract, just to keep them out of WWE's hands in a lot of ways, right? So it's sad. It's sad to see this match, and it just kind of made me angry about why is Geto still the booker of this company?
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, there's a laundry list, like you say, of people in the match that just makes you question what has happened with the booking for us to get to this point. And obviously Zach is center of that, but like you say, Goto being in there in the mix, obviously, world champion very recently. And I'm not saying there should have been 5 more singles matches on this show, but you could have come up with some kind of singles scenario for those types of guys. And yeah, it just felt like a bit of a graveyard for people. Or even, you look at the Clark Connors team, you look at them, it's very clearly Clark Connors, Asuka, and Yuta Ice. They're on the way out too, very clearly, presumably at some point.
They're the world tag team champions. They're in this match.
Very AEW, to be honest. Yeah, everyone's got a belt situation.
Sad.
Yeah, it was. That's it. It was more a list of names that probably deserve better, and Shota Umino, who probably doesn't in that thing as well. But yeah, as you said, it was just a means to it to switch the trio's belts and get them onto TNT.
The other thing, so they're teaming with Kaisei Takechi, who's when they came out, this is fascinating to me. When they came, he gets a big entrance because he's part of this idol group called the Rampage from the Exile tribe. Which, if you're familiar with Exile, they're this huge boy band. They're like NSYNC, but imagine NSYNC.
Oh, we've got to mention that, yeah, with the 7,000 members.
Yeah, so if NSYNC created their own talent agency and they just cultivated manufactured pop stars, that's what Exile is, right? And they just create boy bands. So the Rampage is a boy band created by the Exile talent agency. And then this guy's front and center. He's from fucking DDT. So you got Chris Brooks getting a title match. You get the guy who's not even I don't know, he's 2 years in as a wrestler. He's a DDT wrestler because he's an idol. He's front and center. Not their 2 fucking guys that they want to push to try to potentially become main eventers in fucking Yuya Uemura or fucking Shota Umino. No, this guy is to me, it's they're saying, we're going to steal this guy. Once his contract is up, we're going to give him a shit ton of money. We're going to give Exile a ton of fucking money to get this guy from DDT over to here. And I trust me, within 3 years, this guy's, if he's still interested in wrestling, they're going to try to sign this fucking guy.
It's coming. You can see it there. And I was glad to see, by the way, speaking of those guys from DDT, Bali and Aki on the pre-show knocking around with Chris Brooks. I saw them wrestle in a rainstorm in Vietnam on the beach last year. How far he's come since then in his Choco Pro t-shirts as well. But yeah, some weird guest stars on this show to note of. But yeah, worth mentioning. But that takes us into the next match, which is our number 2 match on the card. Stop me if you've heard this before, Progress fans. It is the women's match, but I did feel like they got a little bit more time than they did at least last year, as we had Shuri beating Saya Kamatani for the New Japan Strong belt to temporarily unify the 2 New Japan belts, as we had Walker Stewart throughout this thing trying to sell us on the fact that a New Japan women's division actually exists and isn't just a mirage that turns up once or twice a year for a title match, usually title versus title, but with a lot going against them and I don't know, maybe a weight of expectation as well. I think this is by far and away the highlight of the undercard. It's just, like I say, the conversations about the booking of this division and these belts, and the need to be 2 belts that are as old as time at this point. But yeah, despite that, I feel like the women went out there and delivered the corker, and it got over as well with the crowd as well. They both looked absolutely fantastic here as well. And I felt like, just following along from our Discord, Saya Kamatani made a real impression on a lot of people, especially for a comparative age at this point.
She was Tokyo Sports MVP for 2025.
First woman to win it, I think they were talking about, weren't they?
Yeah. She, I know a lot of people don't follow Stardom, but I'm not saying you have to watch the entire promotion. You certainly don't. But a lot of her stuff, especially her feuds with Saya Kamatani, with Tom Nakano, that was an incredible feud. And the matches she's had this past year, unbelievable. And her charisma, you only got a glimpse of it. The presentation, her entrance wasn't as good as when her entrance is, because they didn't have the wind machine.
Oh, really?
They got the wind machine in fucking Stardom. When she comes out with that flag, holy fuck, it's awesome. They couldn't bring the fucking wind machine in Tokyo. Are you serious? I was watching this.
Maybe the thing could blow down from the stories I've heard about the Tokyo Dome. Apparently, you can't open all the doors, or it just combust upon itself. I think it's held up by air. I'm not sure.
Dude, I was at the G1 climax in an outdoor baseball stadium during a typhoon.
They make it work. No, it's funny that you say that because like that was the biggest takeaway for me. She just comes across like such a star. Like I say, even just the ring gear, like incredible, but like a presence, everything about her. Like even I was a little bit worried though when she made her entrance and she's wearing like goth inspired gear and she's sipping on water. I was like somewhere in Titan Towers, Paul Levesque is watching this, thinking about his next big women's push. So hands off, Paul.
No, like I'm sure Tony has got his eyes on her and fucking. Paul.
I'd rather that. I'd definitely rather that. But star power's undeniable, isn't it? Like, and she just
incredible.
Very clearly has it, especially for anybody who's not seen it before.
And like Sherry's like an incredible worker, and she has her own like charisma. Like she's the kind of the shooter, right? Like legit UFC fighter in her, right? So it's a good mix of talent that you have in there. You know they're gonna have a good match, but it's like just over 12 minutes, and it felt like a 12-minute match to me. Like it was a good match for what the time.
As good as you can do with 12 minutes.
But as I'm watching the rest of the card unfold in some of these entrances, and we'll talk about Jake fucking Lee in a second. I was like,
that's still going on. I think he's still sauntering to the ring.
You could have given this 7 more minutes. And it would have been fun. It was a good match, but it could have been great if you gave it like 7 more minutes with these two. And where did that 7 minutes go? Fucking Turtle Man, fucking Jake Lee, and his fucking entrance and his charisma void, fucking black hole, fucking facial expression. Oh my god, we'll talk about it. I think that's next, right? So
yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, you would again. Was it 8 minutes they got last year? So it's a 4-minute upgrade on the New Japan women's division that we always need to talk about. So I thought it worked as far as like the big near falls, like the big the electric chair in there, and obviously the big blue thunder bomb near fall. Like the crowd were going for it, and I think they told a good story in the limited amount of time they had there to make Kamatani look good, even in defeat. And
for me,
give Suri the big win too.
It just felt rushed for me because I'm used to seeing at least 20 minutes from her, and where she paces a lot of her matches to like get to that, like it's a sprint. Then you have the middle part, which is not slow, but it's like it's more like psychological, and then you get to then it builds towards the big spots, the near falls and stuff that she'll have with whatever opponent. So like, and then like I say, we see the rest of this. Is this the part where I say I didn't listen to the English commentary?
Smart man.
I don't.
That tweet of yours from a few years ago maybe didn't apply for this show, though. It did for me.
What was that? Like, I can't remember half the shit I say about the English commentary team.
Shut the fuck up, insert name.
I
remember who possibly said that.
Yeah. You said that, didn't you? Elevation's on. Will Ospreay's entrance music on. Shut the fuck up. You said that, not me.
I've learned my lesson because they're on so early hours. These shows over here when I'm watching it in Belfast, I have to have the volume down quite low. So I've just got it pitched at a certain level where you can hear the crowd and you can hear the reactions to stuff, but you can't quite make out the words the commentator is saying, and that's often a good thing with some of these boots. But anywho. There we go. But you mentioned it. Moving on from there, and again, I think it was the match of the undercard. We had our other shove 8 million people into the match, which again, I'm not sure there's much to break down from a match point of view, but plenty to break down from a personalities point of view in this one, as we have the secret backer himself, Andrade, who New Japan felt like they were blowing a lawsuit wide open by announcing as an AEW wrestler and making sure he's an AEW wrestler, despite the fact he can't appear on AEW TV right now. And Andrade himself, like I say, teaming with Callum Newman, Great Khan, Hanare, and joining them, Jake Lee, to an inexplicable reaction we can get into in a minute. And on the other side, obviously, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Drilla Maloney, Shingo, and Hiromu, which is just like, fuck me, what a mishmash of two stables. This story they're telling at the minute with these lots seems to be. And United Empire and the remnants of LIJ and the War Dogs all battling out here, mate. And of course, Jake Lee is the main character here as well, which again, it did feel like there was a reaction in the building, but the reaction I saw in most circles was, for fuck's sake, this fucker, as he sauntered out, and like I say, is still making his entrance to this birthday.
I thought, what do you call it? A wet fart.
Yes.
That's what it was. It was a wet fart. His announcement, like in Japan, like there's like he has some cachet, I feel, because he's like Korean Japanese, So then that community doesn't get really represented that much, even though Ricky Tosan was a Korean Japanese person, but they don't talk about that over there. Actually, quite a few prominent wrestlers are Korean Japanese, but they don't talk about that. But like he's openly Korean Japanese, which is saying something, I suppose. So I feel there's some cachet with that, and like he was going to get a push, right? Like when he was before he got injured. He's going to get pushed in War Dogs and that was the big thing. Oh, he defected.
About 18 months ago, wasn't
he? He's like, who knows? I didn't miss him at all. Like, to be honest with you, I was like, oh, it's him. Oh, I for a second, I thought, oh, maybe Will Ospreay's recovered and he's going to make a special appearance in this match and hiding a tag. No, it was Jake Lee. And to me, it just goes back to Callum Newman. Is like he's supposed to be the leader, right, of the United Empire. Well, guess what, Callum? You're no longer the leader or the star of this group because this. And as much as I say this guy doesn't have any charisma, fucking Jake Lee has even less. So, which is saying something. This guy, his stoicism. Like before, it was stoic, and I liked him in All Japan when he started off in All Japan. I was like, I like this guy. He's got a lot of promise. And then he went to Noah, and I was like, less so. And then. His New Japan
couple of high-rated matches though at that point.
Yeah, but at this point,
people lost their minds a bit.
He's just like a guy, you know. He didn't have any facial expression, just dead inside. It looks like I don't know if that's how he genuinely feels. That's his character, but he walked so slow, and it just made me angry. Every minute that could have gone to Kamatani Shiri was given to this guy's fucking. Like slow paced entrance and his
horrendous song.
This horrendous song, his dead expression, and then his terrible hair. Everything. I was just like, it just made me angry. And then this match happened, and I felt bad. The person I felt bad for the most in this match was Hanare because this is his return from injury. And this guy's had a terrible luck with his career, unfortunately. Because I do think he's a talented guy and he has charisma. He could be a top level upper mid card player in this company, but he should leave. But now he's stuck with like his Great Okan like hair and the tuft of hair in the back. I'm like, dude, really, dude, just go bald, just be bald. Don't copy fucking Great Okan. This guy's a fucking mid carder for life now too. This guy. I remember people, New Japan centric podcasts that we shall not name. We're going, you got to give this, Geto's a genius. Give this guy a chance. He could be headlining the Tokyo Dome in a couple of years. This guy's never headlining the fucking Tokyo Dome ever in his fucking career. Okay. Great Okan is a fucking mid-carder. He knows it. He wants to be a mid-carder.
I think the company know that too. Well, it's like when United Empire needs a leader, he would be the obvious one, wouldn't he? No. And like, was it Jeff Cobb who was saying it when he left? No one wants it. Like, literally no one, especially Oka. He didn't want it.
He doesn't want it. He wants to be a pervert in private and like not be
and public sometimes in Vegas.
Yeah, like and not be exposed, like and get like punished for you're gonna be our champion. No, we're not taking him. And if he's where he is, he can be a pervert all he wants, you know. And like, it's great for him. You know, and then I felt like Shingo and David Finlay. I'm just like, oh, guys, you guys deserve better. But at least you're on the main show. Yeah. You're not on the Rambo.
No, it's true. And like I say, Gabe Kidd, especially for me, like you would have just assumed 6 months ago, 9 months ago, like, or you know, when the Tanahashi retirement was announced and we knew it was going to be a big Wrestle Kingdom, well, Gabe Kidd's going to be in a big spot. Nope. It feels like, as I've been talking about on our AW reviews, he's more. He feels like more of a Tony Khan guy than a Gedo guy at this point, which is very interesting considering a lot of the shit that Gabe Kidd said a few months ago. But now he's just, he's. You know, he's still protected to an extent, but he's still a part of this. But very notable to say he's not not even like, I wouldn't even say the main character in this match. He's like the fourth or fifth most important person in a throwaway match. Like,
you would have
I wouldn't have predicted that.
Like before he got injured during the G1 and he wrestled like only 2 matches, I think, in the G1. Before that, you thought, okay, he's going to, you would have thought when they announced Tsuji Takeshita, like they would have made a 3-way. And he would have been in that, right? That's what I would have thought. Like,
or he'd be in a match where it was very clear whoever won was going to get the next title shot or was going to be the next guy in line this year.
But it's obvious that he's probably told them, I might not sign with you, resign here. I'm just gonna go to AEW, which I think is
forget everything I said.
He's going. I think he's going to AEW, right? Like that's to me is like so obvious.
Seems to be.
And they know it, so they like, well, we're not gonna push you. Not even this 10-man. You're just gonna be second fiddle. The highlight of his year was like being in the finals of the World Tag League with Tsuji against Zack and Oiwa. That was the highlight of his year. As far as being pushed.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, not much to the match itself. We got I fucking hate Jake Lee's haluva kick that he does. It's just shit. It doesn't feel like a finish. And like you said, like with everything he does, it takes 6 years for him to eventually do the pinfall.
You don't let fucking Yudo Ice do his yell out Bumbaclot in the fucking like in a big match. That shit would have gone over in the like. I can't remember if he said it in that fucking Rambo or not. He probably did, but it got lost in the noise of the match itself. Like if you don't, this guy's like this guy. Incredibly enough, Yuto Ice has probably got the most fucking promise of any of the guys in his generation outside of Oiwa. But he's got the most charisma. This Yuto Ice name has got to change in the future. Seriously, it's I
kind of like her. It sounds like a rapper from the mid-90s.
It sounds like it sounds like a Benno kind of a guy.
Yeah, he is.
I'm just like, this guy's buried in this, and like you have fucking Jake Lee in the position that Jake Lee is in, and we'll talk about the position that they're pushing this.
Not the last time we had that theme tonight, unfortunately.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's fine. I thought for what it was and the time it was given, it's fine. It was probably outside of the women's title match up to that point the most entertaining thing on this show. Like, and I thought, just okay. David Finlay and Callum Newman was supposedly the storyline going into this, but then it certainly wasn't by the end of this match for sure.
It remains in my life. Brits and the Irish are going to continue to fight until the end of time, but less so in New Japan. But yeah, we go from there into the next match that really didn't belong on this card, which is not even, and I didn't realize this until we were doing the preview. Oh, right, not even for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, just because I don't know, Dookie fancied the night off. Seemed to be the logic that we had here, but didn't give us a night off from his entrance. We have El Desperado, Kosei Fujita, Taiji Shimori, and Sho in a number one contenders match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Like, why is this not like second from top on a Korakuen card? Like, why is this on Wrestle Kingdom? Like, what is going on? Like, this was the biggest waste of time for the show so far, and there was a lot of waste of time going forward. They didn't even gave it less than 10 minutes. Outside of, again, the entrances getting more time than the match itself. Like, again, on a card where you push for time. What was this doing on here? Like, I don't understand any of the logic behind it.
It was just promoting the IWGP Junior Tag Title match on New Year's Dash the next day, because that's what all these run-ins happening. Yeah. Oh, it's all these guys' partners, and they're all going to fight on New Year's Dash. You didn't know at the time because they announced the card a little later on. But
yeah, later in the day. Was this like a TV Asahi thing? Like, because this made the fucking TV broadcast? Were they thinking that? Oh, we're going to have these casuals watching on TV, therefore fucking bullshit interference and nonsense is going to get people going and going to make them want to watch the match when we get there.
With that being said, like, if this is like the first time on prime time in Japan, you know how precious prime time in Japan is, especially for wrestling? Jesus Christ. They present this card. No one's going to watch this, especially if you're a Lapse fan. You're going to watch this thinking, I need to start watching New Japan again. You're going to be like, what is this shit? What is this?
Fucking sucks, sir.
Sports entertainment bullshit. None of these guys
ref bumps go.
None of these guys have any fucking charisma. Like, some of the wrestling is okay, but like, how can you tell? Like, there's no showcase for wrestling on this fucking show. This is a 7 minutes, according to Cage Match, the match itself went 7 minutes 35 seconds. And then it's not even for the title. It's a number one. What are you saying about the title? This title that in the history of this company has meant so much and gotten so many people. Forget the history of this company. In the history of wrestling itself, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title has meant so much to so many people in their careers, right? Like, I'm talking about like Eddie Guerrero, like Jushin Liger, fucking Fergal Devitt, aka fucking Finn Balor. You know what I mean? And now Kenny Omega. Now it's like not even fucking contested on the main show. It's not even contested on New Year's Dash, for fuck's sakes. It's like I don't even know if it was on New Year's Dash. I don't think it was. It's for later on. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? You might as well not even had this on there. Like, if Doki wasn't gonna, you could have taken Taiji Shimori out of there and made it for the title and fucking stuck Doki in there. Like, that's just bad booking. Again, it's ghetto thinking. This is good. He's the new fucking Vince Russo, in my opinion. Like, he has these stupid ideas about how to try to get things over, and then they go contrary to like his upbringing as someone who started under fucking Genichiro Tenryu, for fuck's sakes, and like, he's a tag team wrestler. He was famous for being a tag team wrestler who hates tag team wrestling now as a booker, inexplicably. So I don't get this guy anymore.
And loves, like I say, a bit of interference, which we're going to get into a match in a minute where I actually thought some of the interference worked. But yeah, Dookie getting involved, like Kanemaru getting involved, Robbie Eagles turning up, Robbie X turning up. Like, it was just a parade of geeks for me at this point in New Japan Vintage. And yeah, all there to set up a number one contendership that didn't need to be set up with Despy going over. Just shite, absolute shite, and there's no other way to say it. And at this point, we're trending towards one of the worst Wrestle Kingdoms of all time, and I think that seemed to be the popular take at this point in the card. But things did turn around. Obviously, we got the little bit of announcement for the calendar coming up, and I'm quite glad that when I'm in Osaka in June, it is confirmed Dominion will be taking place while I'm still there. So looking forward to all of that. And yeah, obviously getting that advertisement in on the telly as well. Maybe sell some more tickets to the G1 show in Chicago. It's another one of those weird ones where it's like 4 weeks before the actual G1 starts. I'm not
Is
sure.
That even Chicago? It's that terrible arena outside of Chicago that I went.
It's the one Steph hates. Yeah, she can't.
Like,
you went, didn't you? I forgot the pump pipe one night. Yeah,
she's like, "Can I get a ride with you guys?" Yeah, sure. It's like, oh my god, that's
otherwise she'd have to stay. She booked a hotel. Like, that's how far out of Chicago it is to stay. There's just no way back, is there? But it explains, I guess, why AEW have not been booking. I don't think there's an AEW Chicago card on the calendar at this point in 2026, which is very not them. Maybe they knew this was coming.
It's weird, but yeah, if you're going, let me tell you something. In summer in Osaka, you're gonna be thankful for the air conditioning in the Osaka Joe Hall. Like, it's a great area too. Like, just spend the day around the area. Like, it's wonderful. Like so many like places to eat in and around that area. But the castle itself is beautiful. It's one of my favorite castles to visit in Japan.
Nice.
So I do recommend take the time out to walk the grounds, maybe even buy a ticket to go inside.
I'll be doing that. I'll be going to Joe's wrestling bar that he recommended there as well. Be pulling in all the sites. Speaking of the sites, when I was at the world famous Korakuen Hall and following your instructions, which was to take the lift up and take the stairs down. No, I've had no better advice in my life than that advice from the beach bar. From anybody else goes, follow that advice. And also, I think you gave me the advice I think we went to Family Mart rather than 7-Eleven, but stock up on snacks and beer. We did that too when we stock in. But when I was at Korakuen, it was for the Junior Tag League. But like, literally between every match, it felt like there was an announcement for this man we're about to talk about in the next match, and that is Aaron Wolf, who I think until I went to Japan, I don't think I quite understood the level of star or notoriety it is. Again, another reason why this thing's on TV Asahi here. But is he a name that you were aware of when you were giving me all that advice for Korakuen and such? Is he a name that is in there in pop culture?
I mean, I don't follow real sports, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't follow who's like famous from the Olympics or anything like that. So, but no, like it is. I mean, judo. He's an Olympic gold medalist in judo. Judo is traditionally like one of the most, it's most established. It's a Japanese martial art, for one thing. So like they take that seriously. That one of theirs wins it. And he switched to pro wrestling. It got a lot of news. So I think more than Tanahashi's retirement, this is what got them on TV Asahi. The fact that Olympic gold medalist is in judo is going to become a pro wrestler. He's going to debut on this show. His in-ring debut is going to be on the show. And for me, like, the entrance was really interesting for him.
Yeah,
because it, to me, symbolically was a break from like they told me they are not going the route of the last judoka, world champion judoka that was in their company in 1997. They're gonna not do that route, which is Naoya Ogawa, who ended up destroying the career of Shinya Hashimoto in their series of matches. When Naoya Ogawa debuted in New Japan, he wore this gi. He didn't go the young lion route. So, and then eventually his destruction of Shinya Hashimoto's career when he shot on him in their third match, that signaled the beginning of the fucking insanity of Antonio Inoki's love of MMA at the expense of pro wrestling and the influence of the Inoki office in that company. That Tanahashi, his ascension basically was the beginning of getting out of that dark period of time of the early 2000s. So for Aaron Wolf to come out, he's taken off his gi. He's in traditional Young Lions gear, in black shorts, black trunks, black boots, everything. He shaved his head. I was like, they learned. This is symbolic. This is like the anti-Naoya Ogawa. They're gonna do right by this guy. They're training him in the dojo. They said you're gonna start at the bottom. Well, he's not starting at the bottom, but you're gonna symbolically look like you're starting at the bottom. That you're gonna do this the right way. And I think that's why he got a massive pop when he took all that stuff off, and he's like showing I'm a young lion, because there's a lot of people in Japanese fandom that want to see people go through wrestling the right way, right? Like pay their dues and the such. And he's not necessarily being catapulted. Like, what is the Never title? It's nothing, right? It's like winning fucking the hardcore title in fucking old WWE, right? It doesn't mean anything, but it's a good way to like get a spotlight on him. And you know what? He had as good a match as you're gonna get outside of David Finlay with Evil and Interference, and it's great. He looked great, getting beat up by everybody, and then coming back eventually. And I like the finish. I like the fact that he capitalized and he used his martial arts background to get the submission on Evil. It's like Evil's just like being arrogant and being a prick as usual, but like he underestimating this kid's legit background, and that's how he defeats him. He gets him in a triangle choke, and he submits, and he just not even submits him, he just puts him to sleep. It's great. I love the finishes. I love the symbolism of him, of New Japan saying he's not going to be Naoya Ogawa. He's not going to ramrod and destroy our main event scene and destroy this company. I think someone like Tanahashi would be like very cognizant of what happened to Shinya Hashimoto and what happened to New Japan for that dark period of like the early 2000s up until like basically Okada comes along, and him and Nakamura try to lift the company out of that booking period of like the Inoki office. He knows, so I'm sure he had a lot of saying like, this is what we're going to do with Aaron Wolf, and I think it worked. And I don't know what the rating for this show was on TV Asahi. It'll be interesting to see when that eventually gets released, but I would say him being on the show was a success. You showed that he's not just gonna like ramrod or roughshod over everyone. He's gonna pay his dues. He's gonna learn to be a wrestler, and he looks like he's taking to his lessons well. He looked terrible physically, like fat guy. Like he looked terrible, but
like a fat baby, wasn't he? Especially when he pulled the talcum, when Evil pulled out the talcum powder and it was all covered, and it was like, okay, that really looks like a fat baby now. But like I was gonna say, like I think they got the balance totally right in all ways, like you say. I mean, I think it still means something that he wins a belt in his first match, whether it's the Never belt or what. I still think like they're having the cake and they're eating it too. You're getting him, like I say, making the big symbolism of the entrance of being shaved headed and, like I say, wearing the young boy gear. I think that shows like a degree of humility and a degree of start from the bottom, while also indicating, but it's still different because it's still Aaron Wolf, and having him win a meaningless belt, but a belt nonetheless in his debut. I think they've managed to kind of cover both ends of it, really, and bring him in, like I say, pitched at the right level. They're not undermining him. They're not going the whole hog and having him work pre-shows, but at the same time, they're not straight going in with him as a main event guy. And I think they also got like what he is and like what he's good at this point of the match, because like we just talked about like other matches on this card, and you know, neither of us are fans of, you know, interference bullshit that Gedo likes to do and all of the House of Torture nonsense. But if there was ever an occasion for it, it was this. I thought the balance was perfect, and like they knew Aaron Wolf could do the odd judo takedown. Okay, let's make note of that. He could fly about a little bit, you know, considering his size. Okay, let's take note of that and let's use it. And then in between the notes, the stuff that he's clearly still learning and still learning to work, like it was the perfect moment to do that interference and do that bullshit and do all that distraction, like, and all of that sleight of hand that, you know, was as subtle as a fucking hammer to the nose most of the time with House of Torture stuff. But I think it was perfect here to do, to fill that time and to stack those odds and to actually, and I think that's a lot of the problem when they do this House of Torture nonsense. It usually just leads to, oh, well, House of Torture win again. It was used here to stack the odds, and then the valiant new babyface that's coming in managed to overcome it. And like that worked as a storytelling device, as cheap as it all is and as sick as we all are on it. Like it felt like, to a man, everybody loved this match, and I don't know what people's expectations were going in. It felt like the performance of Evil's career for me to do this with Aaron Wolf. And I think it also showed the positives of Aaron Wolf, and it showed that, like, yeah, while technically he's not there with everything he's doing, while things do a little bit off and he's still working out what to do between the moves, there's clearly something there, something you can't teach from, you know, a personality point of view and from a rallying the crowd point of view, and, you know, just getting the people behind him, that like he's clearly got, you know, intrinsically there. And I think it's something that we can all now follow to see if he can put the other things together, because very clearly there's a rough diamond there ready to shine.
Yeah, I mean, the follow-up will be interesting. Like 2026, it would be interesting to follow his career and how they book him and how he progresses in the ring and stuff like that. It was a funny moment, like when he's handed the belt and they put it on him and the referee puts it on him and he's about to leave, and you see one of the office guys who's out at ringside. He tells him, no, turn around. The photographers are over there, and he tells them, do this pose. And that's the pose he does, because he's still learning that stuff, right? So like Absolutely. There's a handler out there in like he's there ringside. I think specifically he's from The Office. I don't know who he is exactly, but he's telling Aaron Wolf, no, turn around. Photographers are there. Do this pose. Okay. And he does that. So he's still learning the intangibles of being a pro wrestler still. But yeah, like I know like John Pollock over on Post Wrestling, he wrote this contextual preview of like how important this show is, and John has been really on saying this is the show he's most interested in, not from a ring point of view, but from like a business point of view, right? That he's, and it'll be interesting because like when the number comes out, like what if, I don't know if they track quarters or not in, you know, like in Japan or not, but like if they track like how many people watched this particular match versus everything else on this show, sure. And it's like if it makes new fans, we'll see. Like, and again, the follow up is just as important as this debut.
Yeah, massively. And like again, it was just a great use of spare parts and this things like that. I wasn't mad that Bad Luck Fale turned up in a match on the Tokyo Dome. You know, I'll take it.
Did you see the table? It was It was cardboard.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
Was it? He went like right through it, didn't he? Like he went like created a hole in it.
When it broke apart, you could see that it was made out of card. They made a table out of cardboard for him to fall through. That's how protected he was. It was hilarious. I was like, they didn't even use like a real small Japanese wooden table. They used go back and
protected their money.
Yeah, just go out and just see like that thing's made out of cardboard. That's not wood. I was like laughing my ass off when I watched it. But I said, you know what? Probably better. You don't want to get this guy injured in this match.
No, that's it. And he's going to be box office for them for the time being. If they can continue to get him better, get him more, like even seeing him, he was doing young boy duty, wasn't he? Pushing around the weird Tanahashi cart at the end of the show as well. You know, they're going to put the work in with him and hope that like he moves on. But in the meantime, they're going to be trying to get the money's worth out of him in spots like this on the card. So like you say, follow up going to be imperative. You can't do this every time either as far as the bullshit. But like I say, enough there to be positive about him particularly there. And hopefully he's going to be more, maybe won't be quite be Kurt Angle, at least as far as like real athletes make it in wrestling. But I think we can say that immediately he's not going to be a Abe Stevenson. Me and Matty aren't going to be doing a bet, and I think we are going to see him wrestling come next Wrestle Kingdom.
I
So
think his
we can at
next
least guarantee
challenge will be to have like an actual wrestling match. I mean, if I'm them, I book him in Dominion against Ishii, because like if anyone can protect him and get something like
That's
really
true.
special, it would be Tomohiro Ishii. Even though like because like you see if you save Tomohiro Ishii, like you can get like old Big Tom back for like something like with this kid. Like I would book that. That's my belt. You're not doing. Why do you have that belt? You know, like easy booking. You build it, and it would be interesting to see like Tomohiro Ishii. I think he could get something really good out of this kid.
With the size of the lad, you could see that way in a match made in heaven. And again, he probably does need, once we move on from the young boy stuff, just something to cover up that as a man with a gut, just to cover it up a little bit, or
Singlet.
maybe he'll lose it in time.
Get a singlet.
Yeah, that could probably be the one. Yeah, trunks aren't the look for him, unfortunately. But I get the symbolism. I was wondering, this really, really worked, and I was shocked at how much I love this thing. I think it was a real turnaround moment for the card. I should say as well, by the way, when we're talking just there, the WH's tips for me in Japan. One I'll throw in for myself. If you do happen to go to Korakuen, or even if you go in the dome itself, high recommendation for the if you just you happen to need the toilet in public, I would very much recommend the Tokyo Dome hotel toilets. Go up there to the second floor, publicly available, great for you if anyone's still in Tokyo right now and needs the advice.
You go to Osaka, you need to go to Benno, which is near the area of Tennoji, which is where I lived. So in Benno, there is one of the biggest skyscrapers in Japan. I think it's might be the biggest skyscraper in Osaka. And on the top floor, there is a toilet. The washrooms outlook, you see this amazing skyscape. There's Instagram videos about it. If you need to take a dump, do it there.
Dump with a view.
It's amazing. I speak from experience, by the way.
Same for me with the Tokyo Dome Hotel. 5 stars at the Tokyo Dome Hotel, and that's all of the information.
The bidet. You can't beat the bidet, can you, for a fellow bar?
Mate. Bum gun in Thailand, mate. We're living in the past area in the West. We need to sort it out. They're very much living in the future over there. But anyway, there you go. There's your advice for if you do make it to Japan. But following on from that, with a lot of our listeners in the building for this one, we then had our semi-main event / the main event in a lot of people's eyes, which was Konosuke Takeshita versus Yota Tsuji. And I feel like the talking point to go directly to this one is, the match is fantastic. We're going to talk about it. Perfectly executed by these two in the big spot. Perfect booking in a lot of ways to have, Yota Tsuji be the, especially with some of the shit he's been talking this week, to be the man to bring the belts back home, and presumably he's going to be bringing back the proper IWGP belt, and hopefully that's something he's putting together, which was
he was wearing
part of the build. Was he wearing it on the dash? Okay, there you go. We're there, and that's all the positive. Unfortunately, the talking point we have to start with is the negative, as 2 steps forward and also 2 steps back. That the lovely moment here was ruined by Jake Lee coming out at the end of it as well. But maybe we've recovered at press time a little bit with Yota Tsuji, but they just can't help themselves this lot, can they?
I'll be honest. Like, I'm gonna have to rewatch this match because I was feeling a bit fatigued from the rest of the card, because I watched this straight through. I didn't take breaks watching this. I watched this straight through. So like, there are points probably where I was like maybe not into it as much, but I'm gonna have to rewatch it again with fresher eyes, in terms of like being like not exhausted from watching all this other shit that I had to watch on the show. But I thought, great. They did a really good job for the most part, and I think it was. You need to put the belt on Tsuji. Like, of anyone, like Shota, Yuya, him, Renderita's a lost cause now. For whatever reason, they thought, let's make him a heel and put him in house torture. Oh God. Okay, so who's the only one who is at a level to become one of your next guys? It's Yota Tsuji. They did the right thing.
And it's been clear for like 18 months as well, hasn't it? What's fucking taking them so long? Probably longer.
Well, I mean, they wanted to put the belt on Takeshita, right? So, like, because for whatever reason, like, I understand, like, you're paying him a lot of money to like let him wrestle in DDT, AW, and here. They keep on harping. He's a contract wrestler in all 3. Like, if I was New Japan, I'd be like, you pick, like, you in AW, you can't be a DDT wrestler as well and wrestle for us. But like, he had that power politically to get that deal with New Japan, but. I get it. Like he won the G1, he wins the title from Zack, and this is to build up Tsuji beating him, and especially Tsuji is so like anti AW, right? Like he's like,
yeah,
why you guys?
I think he means it too. It feels like
I think I'm sure a lot of them do. Like they don't see like they want to go there. They want to stay in Japan. They want to make. They see like the people like Tanahashi, Nakamura, and Okada before them. They say we want to do what they did. We like they see it in the last 4 or 5 years. They're young boys. They're like, okay, now we're getting the push. We're getting slated to be the next guys. We have to bring this place back to those levels of 2016 and onward. Like we're not going to do that if you keep like letting us being walked over by Tony Khan and AEW, and they get to do to us what we did to ROH and TNA for all those years. Yeah. Now it's getting done to us. They don't like it, and I don't blame them for not liking it. But that's where they are right now. But yeah, I think a lot of them, there's a lot of resentment, especially for guys who think that they want to wrestle in Japan forever, like the foreigners. Like you let these guys go over there. Like I'm sure I don't know what the sentiment in the locker room for like someone like Gabe Kidd is at the moment, because like I'm sure there's like, you're not saying, are you? You're gonna go over there. Like so. Yeah. Like I think if
especially after he was the one saying all the same things Yota Tsuji said this week. It was Gabe Kidd that was firing those bullets only 8 months ago.
There you go. Once he gets a taste of, working on Dynamite and Collision and occasional pay-per-view. Oh, I'm getting put with Moxley? Shit. I'm going to get a push right away? Oh, shit. Okay, that's pretty good.
He's the Brian Pillman. That's what I've been saying of that. The new Heart Foundation, which is obviously Moxley and the lads there. I think it works. He's the Death Riders Brian Pillman.
So, and Takeshita, like, I was surprised. Part of me was surprised that Tsuji won, because I thought maybe they're going to keep this experiment going. Like for Kamitani to lose the strong women's title, I thought that was surprising to me, but because I didn't see her losing that belt, but like at the same time, like I think they want to focus her in Stardom as like being, like, okay, we got to get her to a point where when she loses the World of Stardom title to somebody, like it's got to mean a lot more that she just loses that belt. And I don't think like I'm sure like Stardom is like, we don't want this fucking strong women's title anymore. It doesn't mean anything. Give it to like Shuri, like she's the IWGP Women's Champion, which means something. It's same thing here. It's like Takeshita does not need it. Like did he say, now correct me if I'm wrong, did they merge the two belts then? Global Heavyweight and World Heavyweight are merged now?
I think they're still separate belts, but it's very Tony Khan pilled in that like he did with the Continental belt. It's like, okay, well, it's back now. I don't think they're dead yet. I think it's wishful thinking, but yeah, we'll see.
I just saw a picture of Tsuji wearing the old one, so I don't know if he was carrying the other two belts with him.
I don't think so.
So like I would rather he just merge them, right? Like I don't like why you got rid of the Intercontinental title in the first place. I don't know. And you created this global heavyweight, which doesn't make any sense. Like from a name perspective, it's global means world. So you have two world titles. This is
it's like AEW. We've got a national and an international and the continental, like
the continental and the TV title. Anyways, I do say, can I just say the national title? I love the design because it's old school.
Oh, it's beautiful, yeah. It wasn't needed, was it, at all? Especially when you got a show here where a card is coming out with the international belt. I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway,
wearing the international belt. Not the United belt anymore, because that doesn't exist anymore because someone else won the Continental Classic. But anyway, this is good.
In AEW, 1 + 1 = 5 when it comes to belts. That's how it works.
This perfectly placed and like perfect. You can book if they can get Okada back. You can book Tsuji versus Okada, I think, and just make sure Okada puts the fucking guy over. That's
that's the thing. Obviously, Okada definitely escaped without doing that, which does put him in a position that you could still make a lot of money with him in roles like that in matches. But I was going to say that same point about Takeshita there, in that, like, I was a little bit surprised he lost the belt. If anything, just surprised that Gedo made a good decision and did finally pull the trigger on Yota Tsuji. But like, I think it kind of indicates as well when Takeshita, won the G1 and when we put the belts on him, he was a pushed commodity in AEW, but he was one that they could do without on Dynamites and Collisions. I feel like at this point, especially going into 2026, I think he's going to be at the top of the card. I think he's going to be maybe that notch below your Swerves and your Hangbands and the like, but it feels like he's getting the mega push in 2026. So that doesn't really compute with also being, the New Japan champion here as well, the IWGP champion. So I think it's wise, and you can bring him back for a rematch, and you can bring him back for the odd match. I'd actually like to see, and I actually thought it might have been the way they were going, Takeshita and Okada. Obviously, they need to have a big match in America, but I did think at one point their match was going to take place in Japan in some form, and it was going to be Okada coming into it to challenge him as well. But even if we're not getting that, there's plenty of money on the table of Takeshita doing the part-time schedule in New Japan this year and filling in for those big main events and delivering what he delivered in the tail end of this year.
I thought at some point like Takeshita was going to interfere in the main event and cost Okada the match, but thankfully,
I think John Callis not making the flight told me we weren't doing any of that tonight. I think that was the giveaway.
One thing I'll say back to the main event, the Tanahashi Okada, like, my God, there were points I genuinely thought, Tanahashi's gonna win this match. They booked it so well, they fooled me. Like, where he's hitting the high fly foes, and then he's doing he does the Nakamura's tribute, the Shibata tribute, and and then he hits the high fly flows. I'm like, oh shit, he might win this, but no. But they had me for a second, and that's good booking, and that's good. That's a testament to Tanahashi and Okada as wrestlers.
Yeah. Well, speaking of doing tributes to Nakamura, I was very clearly obvious that was what it was. But Takeshita had like the ribbon, didn't he, on his arm, and he hit a bomb in this match as well. Like it feels like again, that's why it's again. Point taken about like Okada being the man rather than Nakamura, yeah. But Nakamura does still feel to me like the ghost that never went away in New Japan, because you've just constantly got this parade of guys like doing his moves and wearing his gear, and Takeshita taking it this one step further here as well in wearing the weird. It was like the elbow tape, isn't it? Like the red.
No, it's like his like leather like armband. And I was
it looked to be the legitimate one as well, rather than one.
Yeah, I was like, why is he wearing this?
Manufactured himself. Yeah, like, I don't understand the connection either between those two as well. But
maybe they hang out. Maybe they go surfing together. I don't know.
Maybe
America,
small world, isn't it? Maybe that's what it is. But
I think a lot of the Japanese community in Japan, wrestling community, like they definitely spend a lot of time together. Like they're all tight. Like Tozawa. You never see him, but he's like hanging out with Nakamura and like. Sky.
They're all living in the same area, aren't they? They're all in Florida, so they'll gravitate to it. So it's like presumably some kind of connection there. But like, I don't want that to distract from the match. Like I say, I thought this felt like a Wrestle Kingdom worthy, could have been the main event, but understandably not in the circumstances here. As far as again, all of the big near falls in there, like the reverse suplex off the top rope blue thunder bomb, like all of it. Like it was really like they drove the crowd into a frenzy here, but like they drove up like the melodrama here really well in the way that you'd get in a traditional, Wrestle Kingdom main event style match in those last 5 minutes. And I thought it was just great storytelling as well to have Yota Tsuji, despite all that and despite all the bombs and all the near falls, to win with something as straightforward as a Boston Crab in the center of the ring again, to tell that story, similar story to what we had in the previous match there as well. I thought that worked really well, and it was a great full circle moment for Yota Tsuji as well, and it felt appropriate considering everything he said for that to be the way he beat Takeshita as well.
Yeah, and again for him, it's follow up. Like I know the follow up is Jake Lee, but like okay, that's your first defense, your V1. And after or like New Beginning, that's one and done, and then you move on to Goto or whoever the next person is going to challenge him for. I think this title reign is very important for him. I think he needs to have it through the summer. I don't know if he has to go through the G1 as a champion, but like I would keep it on him. If he's going to lose it anywhere, it should be at Dominion. I would try to keep it on him as long as possible, because you really want to establish this is his first reign. This is the reign that is, I think, really important to establish him as the guy in the full-time guy in this company. and that like okay, really inspire his generational like dojo mates to kind of rise to that challenge, right? And I'm talking about Shota Umino, which I don't think will ever happen, and Yuya Uemura, which I think is potentially could possibly happen. Ren Narita, if you take him out of house of torture and make him a shooter again, sure, maybe. I think the damage is done. It's like saying with Show, the damage is done. That guy will never be a star in that company. But yeah, Tsuji is the guy, and then like whatever, like, and you think Gabe Kidd would be up there with him as the foreign guy, but the days of like, the days of your Stan Hansens living there, and like Zach's the only one, really, right? Like Zack Sabre is the only one who has that philosophy of like, and who knows how long he's staying. I don't know, but like those days are done with AEW and WWE actively not only seeking out foreign talent who works in Japan, but the Japanese wrestlers themselves, like they are actively looking for people who will like, oh, we can bring them over. They can translate. Like Kamatani, I don't think is long for. I just hope Kamatani looks at Julia and says, I'll just stay here for a while longer,
Well, I would have taken any of the laundry list of people we've mentioned so far in the show to be in the post match here, as we say. I do think again 2 steps forward, 2 back in that. Like you wanted Yota Tsuji to kind of bask in the win and for his music to play a while, maybe even a bit of promo time, maybe something. Nah, Jake Lee and his fucking shit song is how we are played out here. Again, even like just looking at the names we've just mentioned there, or like a Gabe Kidd being the first challenger, or even if Naito was going to get a big entrance on the show, like I would have loved for it to be in here. And you can obviously there's a lot of story there you could potentially tell with Yota Tsuji. I feel like there were 47 better options than what we got. And like I say, for as great as the match was, and as for as Wrestle Kingdom-y as it felt. I do feel like the Jake Lee booking did bring me crashing down back to earth on the fact that this is still a Gedo booked New Japan in 2026.
I can see the idea, like, okay, you want to create interest for their title match, so you have it on the TVSI broadcast, you have it on Wrestle Kingdom, The Attack.
But rather than doing it the next night, which they could have done.
I do think they should have saved it for New Year's Dash. They should have let him bask and like create interest in him as, okay, he's obviously a star, like who's this guy if you're first time you're seeing him. But it is what it is, we'll see. I certainly hope they do not put the belt on Jake Lee. That would be like insane.
Oh my god, that'd be the most 2026 Gedo thing of all time to do.
So hopefully we get past that and like he keeps the belt for a while. Like that's the thing to do with Tsuji, and like kudos to him. Like he has really stepped up his game. I still don't get like his obsession with Philip Marlowe, the detective, as a character, and like he looks like Carmen Sandiego, in his entrance gear. He really needs to like change that.
Yeah, the hat doesn't work, and he's a cracking looking bloke as well. He could do better from a look point of view.
You could just get better entrance gear, dude. Like so many people have better entrance gear than him on this roster. Even the guys who don't have any fucking charisma, at least like they have better entrance gear. He needs to sort that shit out.
Well, there we go. That was our semi-main event, and that kind of takes us to the main event. Like I said, we talked about the outcome of it, and obviously the drama involved. And just to repeat your point as well on the match itself, like again, it did make me believe in moments as well, but it also made me believe in like Okada. Like obviously we talked about the nights about Tanahashi as well, but like it's got to be said like how cool it was to see him coming out at the Dome here again. It felt like it meant something to him. Obviously, the match built to the Rainmaker pose moment where that look in his eyes kind of said he almost realized the man he was supposed to be. But it was, I don't know how I suppose the only other thing we haven't covered about this main event is more like the Okada doing the juxtaposition of I've come back, I've got me popped to my proper New Japan song, but I'm gonna be full AW Okada here. Like how well you thought that translated to a New Japan setting, because I think it allowed them to tell a better story than simply playing the hits. And there were obviously, as we talked about, hits in there as far as match, exchanges go, and calls to the past and nods in there as well as what making you think that Tanahashi had a shot in hell. But I think it actually helped the match from a structural point of view as well to kind of tell that evolving story of Okada being the dick that he is in AEW to bits of the dick that he was in New Japan maybe coming out a little bit, and more of that personality coming out of Okada in this one as well. And I think that it all kind of worked to give you that drama in the closing stages, and work for him to be the ideal person, to be that last man standing, that last, to give Tanahashi those last dramatic kickouts. It is the Rainmaker that Tanahashi should be getting those kickouts to. It should be Okada that is standing there waiting for him to get back to his own feet, to be put in the ground. Like, there was no better man for that role than Okada. But I think all of the elements of it, the way Okada left New Japan, as you mentioned earlier, without putting anybody over, and becoming the character he has in AEW, I think it all worked together to create something that was, like I say, playing the hits, but also special in its own regard as well as a main event.
I think like him teasing, like he's the character he is in AEW at first. I think he came out to his AEW music, right?
He did, yeah. You get the coin drop, and everyone popped, and then the AEW song started, and everyone was just like, "Huh? The fuck is this?"
Yeah, it's a terrible song, by the way. I don't know why they don't use. I can't see New Japan saying you can't use the Rainmaker theme. Like, he should still come out to that.
He's trying to make a point, wasn't he? But like, can you make a point with a better song? Like,
I feel like when he becomes a babyface, I think that's going to happen in AEW. Then he'll bring back that theme, his traditional Rainmaker theme. But I think teasing, like the fact that he's the AEW character for the first half of the match, and then there is a shift, like where he's going to do the post, but then he does the finger. That was great, because that got a rapturous chorus of boos from the audience, which is great.
Which felt like it played in his head, didn't it? It was like mind games with him in the crowd.
And then it just gradually, and he's such a master of being like how to work a crowd and like how to pace a match. Him and Tanahashi both, like, and they know each other so well. They can do this in their sleep. They were like, okay, this is when I'm gonna bring back New Japan Okada. And then that match just went up a notch. I will say there are points where I'm just watching this and I'm just like, Tanahashi, oh bruh, oh man. Like when he did the Nakamura tribute, it looked terrible. Yeah, but I'm glad he did it. But it like executing it, the Bomaye looked fucking horrible. But hey.
Even the little Bomaye pose didn't look particularly great. The Shibata tribute was a lot better. I like that.
A little bit better, but he's never like that kind of a wrestler. So that kick wouldn't have looked good even in his prime, in my opinion. But yeah. But the kicking out of the Rainmakers, the high fly foes, the fuck, he did one off the top rope
to the outside. Jesus Christ! One more for the road. Good Lord!
But you knew he was gonna like both bust out. I'm almost surprised. Like Muto's in the crowd watching. I'm surprised he didn't do a fucking Shining Wizard. Like I thought he would have done that. But
Muto seems to be the one in the post match he wasn't particularly delighted to see. So I don't know if we can read into that. He's just like, fuck off, Grandad. You want to take your selfie? Do you?
I would say outside of Nakamura, the only person I'm surprised didn't show up was Kenta Kobashi, because Kenta Kobashi was Tanahashi's favorite wrestler as a kid growing up. And like, I know that they know each other pretty well. Like, I don't know if they're friends, but he acknowledges like Kenta Kobashi is my favorite wrestler of all time. And Kenta Kobashi is like very appreciative of that, because like, of course, it's fucking Hiroshi Tanahashi saying that. So I'm surprised he didn't show up, because he can do whatever he wants. He could have shown up for this. Like, but it's symbolic. Muto, he was the new Muto, right? Like what Muto was to New Japan in the 80s and 90s, Tanahashi was in the 2010s.
Sure.
Right. So like, and Nakamura was going to be Chono, and Shibata was going to be Hashimoto. That fell through, of course. But so like the parallel was between Keiji Muto and Tanahashi, as far as like of their respective eras of who each person of who Tanahashi was Muto. So it was nice to see it, because I think he likes Muto. He doesn't give a shit. He's retired. He doesn't give a shit about the politics of it anymore. And like, I mean, it was good to see Fujinami there, because that's a lot of his moveset is from Fujinami. The Dragon Suplex, the Dragon Screw Leg Whips are all from Fujinami. So like, and he was a mentor to him. I'm just surprised they didn't have like Nagata more front and center in that center, because like they were tag team champions together, and he's
just outside the suit, awkwardly stood there.
Yeah, it's like I thought he'd give him flowers too. Like it was weird, like because like I don't know like what their relationship is like, but like he meant a lot to Tanahashi's career, and he like, if anyone was really responsible for really getting Tanahashi over, it's two people. Like in his early days before Okada comes along, it is it is Yuji Nagata, and it is Muto, because like Muto, like Tanahashi wins the IWGP title from Muto, I think his second or third time, after Muto defeated Nakamura for that belt, even though he's an outsider. And so he's taking the belt back from the outsider, who is Keiji Muto. That was a big deal. That was at a Wrestle Kingdom. So I think it meant a lot for that, but I think Nagata should have been kind of present in that ceremony, like more than Jay White. He should have been giving him flowers, so.
Yeah, maybe Jay White should have been stood on the outside, and he should have been in the ring. That might have been a fair trade-off, but there you go. I mean, on the match itself, though, like you said, like I bought into the drama. I bought that there was the sequence where, like, if you really thought Tanahashi maybe just about had it in him, where like you say, the sequence of high fly flows, like the high fly flow to the back, all of that stuff, and like when he goes up to the top that one last time, and it's just the card that just won't let him have it and gets the knees up. That was like the big turning point moment, wasn't it? In the end, and it was like, all right, maybe I was wrong to believe that possibly Tanahashi literally has got elbows for knees at this point and is stitched together and just trying to get through these last 5 minutes, even in a kayfabe point of view. It was like a card that always hadn't really wanted to, really, and that was kind of the story he told, wasn't it, in the last 5 minutes or so, where it was almost like I say, a card that literally purposely picking Tanahashi back up and kind of playing with his food a little bit. He probably could have put him away and put him out of his misery at any point in those last 5 minutes, but it was almost in like a respectful way, almost in a, and you felt that. I know he's your worst enemy in red shoes as the referee, like almost being hesitant to count those threes. It felt like everybody in the ring was like, all right, this is your last one. We'll let you get up, at your own pace. We'll let you try and get back up to your feet from a Okada's point of view, and we'll give you every split second we can from the referee's point of view. But it was clear Tanahashi was done. It was clear he was going to be losing this thing in the last 5 minutes. But that was kind of the poetry of it. That was the romantic story that you want to tell with him being put out to pasture. And again, as we've said a few times, nobody better than Okada to be in that role.
And that's a shame for booking. Like, you didn't get someone younger who
he could have done that.
Who was built to be like your next guy that could have you could have booked the last 2 years to position him as like Tanahashi's rival outside of Okada, and then they could have that spot. But no, like, who's gonna have that? Who should have that spot is the guy who had that spot, which is Okada, and it helped sell out the arena. I really think you weren't gonna sell out. The closest is like 46,000 people, right? Was the attendance around there?
Yeah.
The only thing that came close was like the last one, the first night of 2020, which was night one, was the Naito one, right? It's the Naito win. In night 2 was Okada versus Bushi, right? So that was 40,000. That was the last one I was at.
Wow.
With like everyone coming in, like John and Wei and like, Martin Bushby.
Wish I'd come over for that one.
Yeah, dude, that was such an awesome.
That was the one.
That was my last time in Tokyo, was with that group. Like, if I was gonna have a last time in Tokyo, like, okay, can't get better.
That's a good crew.
Can't get better than that, than the week I had with all those great people. But that's the last time you had a 40, like anything over 35,000 people in that building. Everything else, like COVID destroyed it, obviously, is like you haven't. Last year was like half of this. It's like 25,000, maybe something like that. So like, okay, can you recreate this? Like, that's Tanahashi and Okada in the main event. That is, to a degree, Aaron Wolf making his debut. That's part of it too. But also, like, to some extent, for hardcores, for the sickos, it's like Tsuji and Takeshita for that title. Nothing else. You could have had like, talking heads, and then it probably would have been better than some of the shit we saw in terms of wrestling. And that it still would have sold out. So yeah, kudos to that. We'll see if they can. I don't think they're going to reach that next year. Definitely not 46,000 people, especially not sell out as soon as you announce Okada. The rest of the tickets all go like that. But yeah, it is interesting, like how they are not cognizant, like New Japan is not cognizant of the problems that they have in this company from a booking standpoint, from like, why is our business down? Well, maybe because you have a guy who thinks that this shit gets over. I'm talking about House of Torture. I'm talking about like bringing in part-timers, hiring people who are not developing talent that you bring in from other places to have charisma, and you push them to a point that they're gonna just fail. And that's multiple people. That's not one person in particular. That's multiple people. You book them to fail in higher spots than they deserve to be or are capable of being in. That's the point where they need to not only get these guys, younger guys, over to carry on for the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years. It's also, you need a new booker. You need to stop doing House of Torture bullshit. It's not just me. It's like most people don't like it. Most native fans don't like it. There is a pocket of fans in that country who go to these live shows and enjoy it. But those chorus of boos that you hear, that's not heel heat. That's go away heat. That's get the fuck off. I hate this shit heat. You're ruining.
And we're on year what of that noise, you know?
Yeah, and then why would you pay money to go see it again?
Yeah.
In the towns, people, guess what? People don't like fucking G1 did the worst attendance it's done in like as a whole as a tour this past year. It's like there's a reason why, because like you book people in it that no one wants to fucking see, and you know you're gonna get shit in it.
And even if you think it is good heat, like it's misleading too, isn't it? Like even if the people who are still left are reacting, there's a reason those are the people who are still left, and there's so many empty seats around them, and there's so many people that are only flying in for this particular show, and you're not going to see them again for another New Japan show this year. Like that is the New Japan problem in a nutshell.
No one's coming for like if you weren't going to be in Japan anyways for Dominion, right? Would you fly in for Dominion?
No.
No one would.
It'd be cool to go to Osaka Joe Hall, but no.
I don't know too many people anymore, and like this is the community that was in like from 2016 to 2020, right? Like the community, every major New Japan show, they would try to fly in from the UK, from the United States, from Canada, from wherever, right? From other parts of Europe or South America, wherever, right? They would try to fly in. Oh, I'm going to see King of Pro Wrestling. I'm going to see the G1 Climax. I'm going to go to Wrestle Kingdom, and I'm going to Dominion. Those are the major ones that people try to go to, right? Like now, like I'm not bothering. I'm not going to go to that because why? Why would you? Like, because you're just going to see House of Torture shit in the mid card. You might get a good main event, but you're not going to get the main event that was in 2016 to 2020 because all those guys are done. Like Naito's done. He's gone. Tanahashi's retired. Okada's gone. Like who
feels like the real end now.
It
feels like since the boom ended and since, like you say, the pandemic, since that 2020 Wrestle Kingdom, we've had numerous... Because it's almost one of those things you can only see it in retrospect. When you say you look at the WWE boom periods, like in the Attitude Era, it's like, oh yeah, I guess the Invasion was the end. Or maybe, you could maybe draw the line under even just WrestleMania 17. Maybe that was the season finale of that. I do the same with like the ROH peak period. Maybe that ended with Final Battle when Homicide won the belt. Or maybe it was a year later. Maybe it was 2 years after that. Maybe it was after the Nigel run. But like, it's always hard until if you're a few years removed to kind of look back and see that. But I think with New Japan, it's like we've had multiple of those. I think really it ended in January of 2020. You could actually go back 5 years before that if you really want to, or 4 years before that, and talk about Wrestle Kingdom 10. And then in the kind of the 4 years, these last 4 years, we've just had multiple, points where it's kind of, you could point to as the death of it, multiple points where you could kind of say, all right, now it's really over. But I think the one that like in 5 years, we're going to underline as like the real full stop point around it is going to be this. It's going to be seeing Tanahashi go. It's going to be seeing the end of that and whatever's to come after it. And there are positive notes there. There are, like we said, Yota Tsuji Takeshita in there, and the possibility of Yota Tsuji being a guy I'm still open to. I think the possibility of Gabe Kidd being a guy in New Japan I'm maybe not seeing happening anytime soon. But really, we're going to look back at this and go, yeah, it was really, really over in 2026. But the truth is, it was probably over also at the 3 or 4 points we could name before that too.
Like 2026 on is gonna, I think, and I hate saying this, but I think it's gonna really feel like the early 2000s of New Japan, where like you had Chono is like a shell of himself. He's still around. Muto's gone. He's left to All Japan. Hashimoto's career has been destroyed. He formed 0-1, like he's never the same. And then these guys have to rebuild. And then like the Inoki office is in control. They're terrible bookers. They're pushing Fujita. And like, unfortunately, like Nagata, Tenzan, Kojima, that's what this generation feels. They feel like Nagata, Tenzan, and Kojima of the early 2000s, where they have to carry this load. They have to follow the Three Musketeers. They can't. Kensuke Sasaki has left. Like he's tired of this bullshit. He's like, fuck this, I'm leaving too. And then like you have this terrible period of booking, and then it's not until a generation later, Nakamura, Tanahashi, Naito, who's a little bit later, but those two, especially Nakamura and Tanahashi, who really are the ones that like kickstarted into like, let's get out of here. And then when Naito starts his ascension into the LIJ character, and then Okada comes along, and holy fuck, then the horses are let out of the barn as far as business goes for the next 5 years. But this is what Tsuji and his generation feel like. They feel like the Nagata, Kojima, and Tenzan of
they're doing the thankless work, aren't they?
Right.
They're doing the
And then it's the guys who come after them that may or may not, depending on like how they're booked and how business is. And like if they capture lightning in a bottle with another Okada, who knows? That guy is a once in a lifetime once in a lifetime talent, like Tanahashi is in his own way, right? But we'll see. We'll fuck. I don't think Aaron Wolf's going to be it. I'm sorry. I was
going to say, could it be him? Sometimes it's hard to predict, isn't it? Something you can't see. I think it's like a lot of people would say they saw it all along with Stone Cold Steve Austin because, people were saying about him that he was going to be the guy for American wrestling when he was stunning Steve Austin in WCW. And I know you were part of that generation as well. But then also, you don't see it coming with a Rock, or you don't see it coming, like say, with an Okada. Like, you don't see, the strapping the rocket to him at the point that they did. There were a lot of naysayers about that, and it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to see, who it might be. It might be somebody that completely shocks us as well. But it's hard to pick those guys out. But like I say, maybe Aaron Wolf ends up being that, but probably not.
We'll see. It's at least from a booking and business standpoint, like New Japan is an interesting company to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. Well, there we go. With that said, that brings us to the end of our review. Unless there's anything else you want to reference, New Japan or otherwise, any other trips for any other tips? Sorry, for anybody else heading to Japan in future. Will you be getting back there yourself at any point? That's one of my questions.
I'm thinking in the fall is my. I don't.
Oh, really?
Yep. This fall, I think I'm going back for. I'm going to
stop off in Korea or Vietnam. That's where I'll be. I'll be around.
Really? You let me know.
Probably Seoul.
Let me know where you are. I could try to hang out if I can crash with you for a couple of days. Of
course, yeah. I'll have a nice Airbnb, I'm sure.
I'm thinking November, November again. Like that's my ideal time because the weather is perfect. Because that's when you and Stefan, right? You and
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was a little bit on the cold side. I was wearing long pants rather than shorts, and I had to steal the Adidas jacket that's in all my pictures from when we were in Japan was literally Steph's. I had to borrow it because I've been in Bangkok and Vietnam for 6 months and hadn't need anything longer than knee length.
You've been in Southeast Asia, so you know how hot and humid it is.
Oh my god, yeah! I was in Bangkok in May and June, mate. Jesus Christ.
No, like Osaka is like that, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be coming out of wherever I'm staying. Immediately, I'm sweating and I need to take 3 showers a day. I don't want to do that. Like I like the fall. It's always been my favorite season in Japan. So like I went 2 years ago, was in like November, and so like I think I'm just gonna do that again this coming year. It's my docket for a big trip. I really want to go to the UK. I really do.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a while.
I don't know. Maybe it's next year.
Can't go to a Liverpool chippy without me, mate. We'll have to organise it for when I'm home.
I'll go with Matty. He'll take care of me, right?
I know the better chippies. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'll just see tons of people. I feel like I don't have to book any kind of hotel. I could probably just stay for free with.
You'll be welcome. The Grappleverse will take you in, mate. There's plenty of us somewhere there.
Yes.
After you.
But yeah, like I'm back, and for people going to Japan, don't be a dickhead. That's my big advice. It's not your fucking playground. Be respectful. The tourism rate over there is so high that they see more than their fair share of dickheads. Don't add to the statistic of being a fucking dickhead from another country and being loud, obnoxious, thinking the people there are your playthings. They're not. They're fucking human beings. Okay, treat them as such. That's my only
Don't
thing.
be American, I think is what you're saying, or British, to be fair.
Or
They're also
Canadian.
the West.
Trust me, doesn't matter. Australians, Canadians, New Zealanders,
Australians can be bad.
Irish, British. Oh fuck! Did I tell you I was like in Yokohama for the fucking soccer tournament, the footy tournament there, and the biggest collection of dickheads I saw were the fucking Scottish fans. Oh my god, they were on the train, like trying to fucking do shit. I like, this is a fucking train, you dumb fucks. What the fuck are you doing? And like, then the next worst were the English with their stupid, with their fucking flag. It's the white one, right? With the cross, with the red.
Yep. Sadly.
Yeah, they were running down the streets. I'm like, oh fuck. Okay.
We deserve our reputation. They
were going to the same restaurant me and my friends were planning to go to. We're like, we're not going there. Let's go this one.
Yeah. Avoid the other foreigners. That's my most pertinent advice if you're going anywhere in Asia, to be honest, especially Japan. But yeah, maybe we'll be in the same country at some point coming up.
You're all right, mate. I like you. Thank God I met you in real life.
An exception.
Yes, in real life in several occasions. So like you and Steph, perfect.
I spend most of my time traveling, apologizing for the rest of the British and Irish. What can I do? But yeah, we'll obviously have to get you on another show coming up. Thank you again, WH, for filling in here in JP's mighty boots. But yeah, you've got a few plugs on the screen there for the video viewers. But is there any way you'd like to tell people they can find you?
Yeah, please come to postwrestling.com when you're not here on Grapple. We got a lot of great content. We got a great community there. So there's a lot of crossover.
The greatest.
Yeah. Like huge amount of crossover of the members of this community with the members of the Post Wrestling and Poison Rana community. So it's like we're all
different solar
family.
Systems in the same universe.
Yeah, we're all like one big family to a large extent to some degree, as I feel. So but yeah, Post Wrestling, tons of great content over there. If there's a promotion, if you subscribe now you get the price locked in before they raise the price of the Patreon.
Amazing.
There you go. So get in on that, folks. It's a great value. Most of my content is behind the Patreon, is behind the paywall, and the cafe, as we like to call it. So that's why they call me Premium Content Park, PCP. Very addictive. But yeah, I do Post Perez with the Empress Karen Pearson, who you sometimes see here on Grapple as well. And we'll have a show coming up talking not about Wrestle Kingdom. We'll talk a little bit about our own impressions about it, but we'll probably review New Year's Dash and like tons of other stuff that's been happening that wasn't Wrestle Kingdom on the show. I do, of course, MCU Later with Rich Fan from Pro Wrestling Torch, and we talk
also a great man. Yeah,
we talk about the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we also do DC content now. DCU Later, and we do a ton of stuff that's also exclusively on the Patreon. The only free show that I do anymore is the Long and Winding Railroad, which you can see.
Hey. I feel like I've seen that somewhere on telly.
You might have seen it on a guy by the name of Eddie Kingston and some other people. I know Konosuke Takeshita has a T-shirt of this. Nice. So, and he's not shy about wearing it on his Instagram, apparently. So, be like Eddie Kingston and Konosuke Takeshita.
Great advice.
I don't know where you can get these. I don't know what our platform for merchandise. Unfortunately, chopped-tees.com is done. I miss you, Dickie. I miss you, Dickie Bird. But I'm sure we'll have another platform for our merch, so you can get this stuff in the future. But that's a more kind of like quarterly show, and I'm hoping the gentleman I'm talking to right now is going to be my next guest. I'm saving that next spot for you, Benno. We're going to talk about that match that we're planning to do in the summer, but the fall. But your schedule is just so crazy, so but that's okay. I save it for you. We'll do it in the coming month or so. How about that?
Thank you. That'll be amazing. Yeah, we'll get on the same time zone, or we'll figure something out because that anniversary does need paying off. And I did promise one more review of that particular match to WH. So
yes, it's mine.
That's it. And I've not been in that universe for a while, the post universe, so I'll be made up to be back. But as WH said,
you've never left. You've never left. It doesn't matter.
It's still in my Twitter.
You're home. You're part of the family. Like anytime you come visit us in real life,
I've still got my hat.
We all make time for you, right?
I always appreciate that.
Always
yeah,
everyone.
I felt bad last year. I felt like John away saw me more than some of their families. But yeah, always feels like the home away from home does Toronto. And yeah, I always wear my post hat proudly. And the laptop I'm talking into right now, still emblazoned in my post wrestling logos.
You're
as well.
always
So
a post guy.
I'm always
like,
representing.
It doesn't matter. Grapple post, like you're part of the family. Like
Appreciate that.
It's like Martin. Martin doesn't do stuff for us regularly, but he's always part of the family, right? You guys, I think you're sorely missed over there. But you're always with us in spirit. I always say that. Like Benno is always post, and Martin's always post, and Andrew Thompson is always going to be post, even though he's working for wherever. I know.
Yeah, Fightful. I think it is now.
He's Fightful. Yeah, he's he left us for SRS, but that's okay. We still consider him always part of the family. He got the main event slot in the Christmas show, man.
That's
impressive.
I'll always be a John Pollock. I always be a waiting guy. The greatest of all time are those two, and yeah, definitely everything in podcasting to post wrestling. So yeah, if anyone's listening to us but doesn't listen to them, I can't imagine there's many of them, but definitely pop over and support and get all the WH's stuff as well.
I want to tell you guys, like, while I'm here, like you and Maddie and JP, like. And when Gareth is able to do shows, like
we'll never let him retire.
It's incredible. Like you guys, I'm so happy for you guys, and I just like tell people like, oh, you want something in addition to post and post Rana? Yeah, I grapple. Like I don't send them to, like the only other place would be like maybe the Torch, Observer. No, I don't send people to Observer. I don't send people to wherever else. We won't say any other sites' names that I don't want to get in trouble. But Grapple is like
another one. You mean
Grapple is the place to be, honestly, especially if you want the European perspective of wrestling. And honestly, like outside of John, like I think you don't call yourself a journalist, but your analysis is fucking top notch, Benno.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'll live to be anywhere near what those guys are doing over there. But thank you, I appreciate that. And yeah, shout out to our friends over at Poison Rana as well. Also part of this ecosystem we've got across the site as well. But no, always appreciate you coming on, mate. As the man, you're the man to bridge the gap, and Karen's the woman to bridge the gap across the two worlds. But yeah, just to throw in, from our point of view, obviously, thank you for the kind words. We'll have a load of shows coming up. Obviously, it's a new month. It's January. We still haven't done the grappies and crappies. They are going to be coming up in January. But yeah, when I'm next on with Matty, we'll run through the packed January schedule, which does include a Chris Platt King of the Mountain show, a new show concept that we're going to be revealing as well, and a couple of flashback reviews coming in January too. But stay tuned for all of that. Listen to our back catalogue from December if you haven't already. But yeah, outside of that, thank you again, WH, for joining me. Thank you to everybody for listening, and we will catch you all again on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Good night, all.